All righty, and we are live. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the live show.
Hey, everyone.
Mike, Taco, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. Yeah, little travel this week, but it was just kind of a road trip, so just driving, so not too bad.
Not too bad.
How about you? How you feeling?
I'm doing better, man. I'm doing better. I'm day by day is what I tell people. I said I take it day by day, but it
that's all
like
of us.
Better. So yeah, that's every day, man, regardless of what's going on. But it's I think we got a pretty good guest tonight.
Yeah, really excited about this. I know we've talked about it for a few weeks now.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm not sure how many people are familiar, but Bobby is a professor at Rutgers, and he's teaches filmmaking, and he has a specific film that we're going to talk about, as well as his comic books and things. But this the movie that he did about Wortham, I think we both watched it. We're both really impressed by it. I think we both have a lot of questions, and we want to talk about it. So maybe we should bring Bobby out and we can talk.
And here is Bobby. Hey, Bobby, welcome, buddy.
Hey, Bobby.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Glad you're here, man. Been looking forward to talking to you.
I've been like nervous all day. I like rewatched the film today. I was like, I gotta be on. I'm like sweating a little now because it's funny. You know, I've watched your show. I've watched your channels, and everybody, particularly you guys, and Chanko, like you are always talking about like community in this community, and like I was watching from the outside, and I was like, man, I want to be part of this community. I was like, let me start.
Well, you are now.
Yeah, hey, man.
I was like, let me start making something, and then it's like, how do I get noticed? How do I get in? And so I feel like I've landed now. So I appreciate you.
It's easy.
Having me
All
on.
you have to do is say hi, and pretty much people will walk you in.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for doing this. I know we talked a few weeks ago when Archivist was on, and really super interesting stuff that you're doing, so we're happy to have you on. But maybe we should say hi to the chat first, and then we can start the interview.
Cool.
Do that. Let's see. Son of Crime was first. He's happy anniversary there, Bjorn. So they'll watch.
Good job, Bjorn. 32 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
32 years. Yeah. And Stevie D, much love.
Hey, Stevie.
Derek, glad you're here, man. Glad you're here, buddy. Archivist.
All right.
Yeah, let's do
glad you're here.
John,
JSS.
Always a pleasure, buddy. I'm glad you're here.
All right.
Let's see, we got Bleecker.
Hey, Bleecker.
Let's see. Oh, Adam Sweetie.
Hey, Adam,
buddy.
Good to see you here.
Yeah. Oh, hey, and Dopester.
Hey, Dope.
Our idiot leader. Now we can start.
Up and Adam and Dope Comics, two great channels, big fans.
Yeah. Do great. And if you haven't checked out church on Sundays, Bleecker, great. And all people are welcome. So yeah, that's always fun. And Coach is here.
Hey, Coach.
Hey, Coach.
Glad you guys are here, man. All righty.
Man, you got this thing down like so smooth, like the way you run this.
It's good of you to say. Sometimes it doesn't feel that way.
Oh, really? I like how you you put me backstage and then brought me out. It's like late night talk show. You're saying hi.
Right. Going behind the Johnny Carson curtain.
I'm trying to work on an intro, but maybe you can help me out with that some other time.
Speaking of intros, man, Chanko's intro is blazing. Like I have questions about like who produced that, like the song, the graphics, everything about it. Pretty fantastic.
The song is myself and it's my former band that I used to be in a band with some people, and I just kind of said, hey, I got this jingle I want to do, and we got back together and did it real quick, and I also did the Dirty Rotten Comic Flipper song too. But this guy on Fiverr I found, he's in Mexico City, and he's a DJ and produces these short kind of videos and stuff. Just awesome. And worked together a couple times. In fact, I think we're going to have him on the stream sometime. He said he would come on. Good
I knew,
dude.
like, you listen to the song and it's like a bespoke. So I was like, man, this is made for the intro, and it's so well produced.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the guy does great work. He really
yeah,
does.
it's
Yeah,
nice.
and he kind of cleaned up the sound for us and everything. So that was great.
Yeah,
That's cool.
But yeah, normally we start the video just or the interview. I'm sorry, with a couple of questions. So, like, first, how did you get into comics, and kind of what comics do you collect? What do you like?
yeah. I've been, I've been a reader for as long as I can remember. I think I might have mentioned when I sort of popped into that one, like the first comics I remember getting when I was, was a little kid was, Archie Digest comics when I was a kid. And, I sort of hooked on those for a long time. And
Yeah.
probably, and I think when I've seen the show, I've seen some people kind of pull out comics or stuff they want to show. So I pulled some things, and a couple of those
Sweet.
things are the
Sweet.
earliest comics I ever remember getting in like
Yeah.
1982, which would have put me about like 7 years old. So like the oldest comics that I have that I remember getting. So I've been a reader for a long time, and I've had, my ups and downs, like, a lot of people, times I had stopped reading,
Yes.
times I had got back in, I stopped for a little while in the 80s and then got back a little bit late 80s. And when the 90s, when things got weird, I stopped. And then I stopped when I went off to college. But then when I graduated, I sort of started reading again. But, I don't have like a really extensive collection, like deep, collection. Like I don't really have very many golden age comics or silver age comics, and that's one of the reasons why my channel is the approach that I had, because I don't, sort of have that deep collection. But I am somebody who I still read, comics today. I go every Wednesday, get my comics and read. So, I'm still reading comics on the shelves, and I follow some channels who, aren't really into new comics. Right. And, they're sort of, like, and read and collected old comics, but I still read. And I think there's a lot of really new, great stuff out there that's fun to read. And,
Oh yeah.
Lots of great art and lots of great writing. And so, like, I'm not, and one of the things I'm fascinated about in watching a lot of people's channels, and like, when I watch YouTube, I'm like watching it like, it's like 11 to like 2 a.m. Like that's when I'm watching everyone's videos. It's like my get ready for bed kind of mode. And like my favorite thing is to like watch hauls or watch like new stuff people got or stuff that they're chasing. I love to watch collections that people are chasing. And that's something I really haven't done, is like sort of chased things that I collect, except for one thing, and that is POV comic book covers. I chase.
Oh, really?
One of my videos is about POV comic books.
Yes.
Everybody has seen that. It was one of my favorites to make. And so there's a couple of like more expensive or hard to get POV covers that I'd like to get. So that is one thing I chase. And another thing, which my next video is about, I sort of pivoted away from what I said it was going to be at your last live show. My next episode in my series is on silent comics. That's another thing I kind of look for.
There are not a lot of them, but I mean, obviously the G.I. Joe one is the big one that people know.
That's sort of what I cap it off with. But
silent comics
are kind of interesting to me too.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting.
I hope so. Yeah.
yeah. POV, like I guess the one that comes to mind right away is, I guess, the cover, the Werewolf by Night cover, where looking at the rearview mirror.
Yes. Yep. That is one I do not have, but one that I do want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so I know. I mean, we'll go back into comics, but I think one of the things that we really wanted to talk about was your filmmaking and specifically the World movie. Like, I know we both watched it. I watched it last night and I was fascinated by it. So how did you decide to get into filmmaking? Make it a career. Where you're teaching, and then to like a sideways question off of that. How did you decide on to do a movie specifically on Wortham?
So I've always, as a kid, like many kids, I was fascinated with movies and wanting to make movies. And another one of the videos in my series, it's about a specific year in comics, and it's really it's sort of the most personal video I made. It's about my cousin and when we sort of got this very particular video camera together, and how that kind of set a bug in me about like making movies and thinking about that. But I did it when I was a kid and I loved it, but I kind of put that away because I don't know, what am I going to be, a famous director? I don't know. It just seemed like something out of reach. In fact, college seemed out of reach. No one in my family ever went to college. No one in my town that I ever knew ever went to college. I didn't think I would ever go to college. In fact, and I heard you guys talking about military, like I joined the Navy out of high school.
Oh, wow. What was your rating?
However, I joined with my friend, one of my best friends, Jimmy Clark. And like, I think it was 10 days before we were being sent out, and they ran my medical history and found that I had an eye injury when I was in 10th grade, and I have to get my eyes checked all the time for glaucoma. If I get hit in my eye, I could go blind. And so they pulled my record and they were like, yeah, we can't have you out on a cruise and you go blind because something happened. So I got like canned like days before I was about to go to boot camp. And so my best friend was like, all right, I guess I'm going by myself. Now he works for Lockheed and like way more money than I do, so I'm sure he doesn't care. We were both going in as like like fire control technicians, work on radar systems for like the Aegis system.
Okay, that's cool.
So that didn't, that wasn't gonna. I was like, what am I gonna do, with my future? And a friend of mine said, hey man, I'm gonna go to community college. I'm going to county college. Well, you should just go. And I was like,
it's always a good way through.
I was like, okay. So I applied.
Good place to start. Yeah.
Yeah. I come from like a single parent home. Like I grew up on welfare. We never had any money. So I went to college for free. I was like, whoa. And then when I got to college, I was a terrible high school student. And, I got to college and I was like,
your path is so similar to mine. It was like Navy community college and then on. That's what happened.
Me too. I was like, there's no way I'm going to college. So I was like, Navy. Okay.
Yeah. And when I got there, I was like, holy shit, you can like study what you want. Like, this is crazy. And I took a class in journalism and I was like, wow, like I'm really interested in people's stories and real stories. And I was like, I think I want to be a journalist to tell those stories. And for a couple of years, I thought that's what I was going to do. And then I took a film class. And I was like, oh no, like, yes,
you're hooked.
This is how I want to tell people stories. And I've always been interested in nonfiction and like documentary and stuff. I've never really had a desire to make a fictional film. And so when I took that film class, that kind of set me on that trajectory of like wanting to be a filmmaker. And then I just kept going to school for as long as I possibly could to avoid the real world, I guess. But, and I just concentrated on documentary film. And as I went to undergrad for filmmaking, and then grad school, I focused on like American popular culture and like media and art, which is what I got my doctorate in. But when I got my MA, when it came time to do my thesis, I said, hey, I was going to write about comic books, and I was going to write about. There was a well-known, I don't know if you've ever seen there's a documentary about Robert Crumb just called Crumb.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Love that. It's like seminal work in comics and in doc. So the guy who made that, his name is Terry Zwigoff. He made a couple of films, one about Crumb and one about a blues musician. And I was in contact with him, and he was about to do Ghost World, the film. He was about to direct.
Yeah, that's a great movie too. Steve Buscemi.
And so I was
young Scarlett Johansson too.
Exactly. And so I was in contact with Terry Zwigoff. I was going to do my MA written thesis about him. And then we're talking and I'm interviewing him, and I was going to write this, dissertation about him. And then he was like, I don't have time anymore. This Ghost World film's taking up too much time. And so I pivoted. I went to my dissertation advisor. I was like, yeah, I can't do the written project anymore. I was like, but maybe I could make a film about comics. And they were like, yeah, that sounds cool. Like they thought that was cool. So my MA dissertation is a documentary about comics. It's called Enthusiast. And it looked at about sort of comic book enthusiasts on 3 levels: people who make comics, people who read comics, and something that was very new at the time, people who teach comics. Like comics were kind of starting to ride. This was in like 1999, and like comic book classes in universities were starting to become a thing. And so I was interviewing people that were teaching comics. I interviewed Joe Kubert for that. I went to his
that's cool.
Cartooning, which was running at the time. And so that was my first kind of convergence of
Is that available online at your
I think it might be online, but it's not public. It's like
it's
one of those where I look back at it and I'm like, oh man, I could have done this so much better.
It's still when I look back at my first video, it's so embarrassing, but it's still like it's still formative and it's worth watching.
I bet it's still better than you think.
Yeah, it was fun. I interviewed a lot of indie comics people at the time, and in fact, when I made that, and tell me if I'm ever getting too tangential, because sometimes
no, this is all great stuff.
Okay, cool. When I was making that film, but when I was in the heart of the production on that film, what's up, nerds? It was I have the final interview set up. I'm about to interview Scott McCloud from Understanding Comics. He's going to be in the film, which was going to be a big deal. I'm talking about comics, and I'm set to interview him on I think it was like I'm set to interview him on September 12th, 2001 in New York City. And 9/11 happens, and
oh my God.
Wow.
And that just disrupt the all these people I was set to interview at a comic book festival.
Everything.
Yeah, I know, right? And at that point, the film was just like whatever, because the world was falling apart. But something kind of remarkable happened. Was many of those independent comic creators that had already flown to America and were waiting here to be part of this, small press expo, decided that they were going to have this like kind of bizarre style Comic-Con, like in a warehouse in Brooklyn, because all these people were here. And it was like, we're going to, have this celebration no matter what, even if it's not going to be the convention. And I was able to get into New York to film like this coda for the film, saying, hey, I was supposed to interview all these people. That didn't happen, but look at this community that still came together in the face of this. And it was like surreal, like, passing through like dudes with guns, like, guards that had to pass through checkpoints to get into Brooklyn. It was like,
no one knew what was going on at the time.
Yeah. You could still smell and see the smoke from, the towers. It was really intense. Crazy. But it was like this kind of powerful moment of all these sort of comic book creators coming together in the face of that. It was really cool. And so that, like I said, was really the convergence of like filmmaking and comic books. And then, I just sort of continued my path from there, and have made movies about all kinds of popular culture. I've made one about a famous train during the Depression, about a pilot who flew with Lindbergh, about comics, about film censorship, and countless other short films and stuff.
I mean, that's all like, it's a great path. I mean, everybody remembers it where they were September 11th, I think, if you were alive. And I mean, it sounds like your story was actually, kind of had a good, I don't know, as well as it could be on a terrible day.
Yeah.
But so, Diagram for Delinquents.
Yeah.
Specifically. We both watched it. What gave you the idea to do a book on Wortham? By the way, JSS and forgot who was all in the JSS and Derek. If anybody can put the link for Diagram for Delinquents, Bobby's movie, it's what we're talking about, and he's got some like previews and stuff up too. But what gave you the idea to do it, and then as you're, I guess if you could talk us through kind of the path, because it does it does really do a good job of breaking down Wortham as a person, and a distinction between him as a person and then some of the crazier aspects of his theories that come out a bit later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had leading up to that film took me, that was a long one. Sometimes they take a long time. They never really take a short time, but that one took me about 3 years to make.
Wow.
So about 3 years before that film, I got in touch with a comic book website who was like a comic criticism site. Like they would sort of critically write about comics, and they were called Sequart. My name is sort of a bit of a nod to them.
Okay.
And they produced, you probably have seen their books and don't know it. They produced many books about comics, and they produce also documentaries. Like they produced the Grant Morrison documentary. They produced the Chris Claremont one.
Oh yeah.
They produced the She Makes Comics documentary.
Okay.
So they produced a number of documentaries. And before they got into feature-length documentaries, I was making little shorts for their website where I would go and I filmed like David Mack, and I filmed like CB Sobolski, like a bunch. I'd go to cons like New York and San Diego and do little short interviews and post them.
Yeah.
And at one point they were like, hey, do you want to make a full-length film for us? And I was like, sure, I'd love to. And they were like, what are your ideas? And I was like, well, I would love to make a film about not Frederick Wortham. I would love to make a film about Miracle Man and the process of, what happened with Miracle Man, from Marvel Man to why we can't see comics today. And they were like, cool, we're actually in touch with Alan Moore. And maybe we can make this thing happen, because they had done some stuff with him. And, but he wasn't down for it. So Alan Moore, because you know how he is. So
strange guy, but brilliant, but strange.
Yeah.
So, it was like, what next? And so at that point, I remember reading and hearing about that the Library of Congress, who has all of Wortham's papers, they were about to go public because they were sealed for like 50 years or whatever it was. And they were about to be unsealed. And so I said, here's an idea. The Wortham papers are about to be unsealed. We could get in there, probably some cool stuff. Maybe let's make a film about Wortham. And they were like, sounds cool. Let's do it. And so papers were unsealed, got in there, so much great stuff, like an overwhelming amount of stuff. Like I couldn't, and this is why I kind of have gone back to it a couple other times and have made shorter films of stuff I found in there. Mm-hmm. So, that was the seed to make that film. And I didn't really know, I was like most people about Wortham and comics. It's like, this dude fucked this guy
messed it up forever for 50 years.
Drop dead Fred. And until I started doing the research, there were a couple of books written by him, particularly the one by Bart Beatty, which really holistically looked at Wortham. And I got to meet people who met him, like James Gilbert, who wrote his book about juvenile delinquency. Like he sat down with Wortham for a long time and got to know him as a person. And as I started pouring through that and looking at the facts of history, I was like, man, he's a complicated figure.
Yes.
And so I was like, I think could be a pretty interesting film here that we can do a lot of cool visual stuff with. So, that's what led me, to that story and to make it. And it took 3 years because, I was traveling all over the US to interview all these people that I thought could help tell the story as best as possible. And of course, multiple trips to the archives to get in there, to read stuff, to scan stuff.
Yeah.
And that's how it came about.
It's great.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you can tell there's a lot. I watched it. I think whenever it was when I emailed you about the link to get to it or whatever.
Yeah.
I watched it that day, and then I actually watched it again today, trying to reload my brain because there's a lot.
I know, that's why I had to rewatch it. I was like, let me rewatch this thing.
There's a lot.
And I was like, I hope no one asked me dates because I'm not really the best.
Yeah. No. It's not going to be trivia.
Yeah, okay, good.
We're not
but I learned a
purposeful?
lot myself on that picture, right? Too, which was, as a comics reader and a comics fan, it was, enlightening for me to make the film. And yeah.
Was it on purpose to tell this story just about the man of Wortham? And I mean, he was vilified by many people, and we'll get to some kind of the batshit crazy stuff in a minute. But like some of the stuff I didn't know. I mean, this doing like free psychiatry for kind of inner city kids, and in this basement of this church, and charging like 25 cents. Like these things are aspects of him that I don't think people really knew, or that he had this kind of humanitarian side to him.
Yeah.
And he was a bit of I guess you could call him a bit of a progressive in certain ways. I mean, can you talk just a little bit about some of the things you found out in that aspect?
That's the most fascinating part to me. And as I was watching again today, I remember I forgot about the end of the film and how it ends, which I kind of love, is when Bart Beatty is talking about Wortham, and he says, look, when history looks back, like Wortham lost, man. Like, when history looks back, they're not going to look fondly back on this dude because of this one thing that kind of covers his entire work. And so as I started sort of scratching through that and seeing all, it was like, wow, it's like pretty much most of the stuff this guy has done is like incongruous with this one kind of crazed thing he had against comic books. And so I kept telling myself, like, I think it comes back to, for him, like, that he believed that they were harmful to children, and he believed in that so much that he just took it as far as he could, and he didn't step back from that until I think I made this short film about him and Al Hewitson, which I learned some new things in looking at their private letters, which I can get into. So yeah, as I started scratching through and finding out more than just the guy who said, essentially, I mean, there's no sugarcoating it. He said comics were worthless.
Yes.
And that they
amongst other things that come to light in the movie that he says that are batshit crazy.
Yeah.
That there are no value, artistic or otherwise, to comics. He could not recognize that whatsoever. And this was a guy who was a real lover of art. Like, if in the archives, you can see there's a catalog of the artwork that he collected of artists. Like, he, lived, had a beautiful apartment in Manhattan that was filled with art that got donated. His wife was an artist. So he was a guy who loved art. And you would think that he could recognize, the artistry in comics. He does admit it later on, which we can talk about too. But like, if you look at his track record, the things that he had done as far as mental health, for people, the biggest thing being, like, how his work was used in Brown versus Board of Ed, how he was he was against censorship totally. And that's the biggest thing that always gets me, that I want to say to people. People think Wortham is a censor. They always say, oh, he's a censor. He was anti-censorship to the max. He never wanted to censor comics. They asked him to run the comics code. He was like, I don't want anything to do with that. He just wanted comics to be not sold to kids under 13. Like, he didn't want, he didn't say, like, stop making these things. He didn't like them, but he said they shouldn't be sold to kids under 13. Was his big thing, but he didn't want them to be censored. He was anti-censorship. As you saw in the film, he once testified in a case of censorship against nudist magazines, and actually found in the archives, like, nude photographs of his wife in there. If you go through,
oh my God,
kind of funny. So tastefully done, of course.
Right.
But he was a lover of art, an anti-censor, a progressive in many cases. But he thought that that comic books were harming children, and that was his crusade. That was his crusade for sure.
But he does this is one of the things I take exception to. I think I think he is for censorship. He claims he's not, and in many ways he does come out against these forms of censorship. But really, what he's advocating for is it's censorship by proxy or something by stating that, and it also, if he got what he wanted, it's a death blow. Comics don't exist anymore. If he got what he wanted, and just some of the things he said, like I had some of the quotes. All comics are bad. All children could become delinquents. Even well-adjusted, totally fine kids could become delinquents just by reading comic books. Superman is a fascist avatar. And you cannot possibly exaggerate the harm of Superman on children.
That's right.
These are things like when he says these things. I mean, these are some of this. Might be. I did get the feeling like he's saying certain things for effect, and I believe he 100% believes that these are harming kids.
You're right, but there's a lot of theater involved in his work. You are totally on about that. I think he was a showman.
Right. And that's what he did. And he did it for a very, very long time. So like it and on television, in print, he was, as when we talked last time, he does a bit of smelling his own farts, and he reads his own press clippings and stuff, which I think, like the fair criticism is in that of Wortham is, this kind of hyperbolics, hyperbole for effect, and this, kind of overstating things and then I think there's fair criticism of the science. I think, and that, people made some valid points that this was just a position piece that he was doing. It wasn't really, but people are taking it as if it's science because it's coming from a scientific mind.
That's right. Yeah. And so some of the defense on one side, like Bart Beatty, is like, he says, look, people are saying this is, a terrible work of science, but what you have to understand is it's not a work of science. It's a work of popular writing for a popular audience. But you're absolutely right. It's coming from the eminent psychiatrist, Dr. Wortham, who are taking it. People are taking it as science because everywhere you see his name written, it's Frederick Wortham, MD, right? And so that precedes the writing. So the gravitas of that, is taken. So parents are taking this as science. So, it's about like what the thing actually is, but perception too, right? It's perceived as science. So people are going to tend to say to take it as science. So I think you're absolutely right about that. And the Superman, one of my favorite moments in the film too is a guy named Dwight Decker, who was one of the big early comic fanzine guys, and he wrote a bunch of in amazing, what's it called? Not Amazing Stories. In a comic magazine, he wrote a series of articles about Wortham because he was one of the people Wortham asked for their fanzines. And at one point in the film, he says he's criticizing Superman, the most benevolent figure in all of comics. Like, this guy is so way off base. Like, what's happening here? But others say, like, look, you can't take Wortham without taking the context of Wortham, this guy who comes out of Nazi Germany, who sees like Superman, the Ubermensch, and that he represents Nazi idealism, right? But he can't separate the fact that Superman was created. Who was Superman created by?
That's exactly right.
Two Jews, right? Who it doesn't quite make sense. And I think really, Wortham was smart.
Obviously,
that evaded him, but I think he used this to make his argument the best way he could.
That's right. It's hyperbole for effect. It's one of the things I resent, but I clearly did it on purpose.
Yeah.
I guess there's another thing philosophically, and I'm sorry that but these things were fascinating to me. But he talks about, like, very early on, he was a student of Freud, and the family, the mother, and these things, and he later rejects this, and this is one of the issues that I had with his stance, was almost like absolving the family unit of this issue of delinquency, and then saying that it's this other thing, this pop culture that they're digesting. It almost, and this it almost gives away too much of my own philosophy, but like and it almost is saying that, you know, the family unit isn't creating this, therefore the family unit isn't the solution to it. It's the collective, and the collective has to be the one to fix it. And we have to have these laws and this kind of a big brother approach to fixing this, rather than the solution lying in the family unit. I mean, is that fair, or am I mischaracterizing what he was saying?
No, I think you're right in that, you know, and in the film, it talks a lot about, like, you know, Wortham was a social psychiatrist, right? And that, you know, this idea of Freudism comes back to the self and one's sort of inner world, and your relationship with your family and how that's caused. And Wortham sort of rejects that for the idea of that, you know, one's mental health, you know, sort of comes down from, you know, the public health, like social health, and the idea of how society affects the individual, right? And so he's looking at how what's happening in society affects the mental health of the individual. And so, you know, also what you're getting, like, Wortham tend to be like monolithic in ways like that. Like,
Yeah.
obviously it's more than that, right? I mean, it is about, and, you know, about what's happening with your inner life, with your family, with society. And, you know, one of the things in the film that I appreciate as well is the subcommittee where he testifies. When they release their report, even they are like, look, there's no one single cause. It's like, it's not just comic books. And we understand that a healthy child who comes from a good family with support and this and that is probably not going to be impacted by these comic books.
Or they all would have been. They all would have been delinquents.
Exactly, right? That's what doesn't make sense, right? They all would have been delinquents. But he always stood by this idea that comic books are an important contributing factor to juvenile delinquency. Like, that's the line I say over and over. A contributing factor to juvenile. And he always conflates this idea of correlation to causation, right? Like, just because there was a correlation doesn't mean that one is the causation. And me personally, as someone who has worked in the media, I've taught media studies, like, I don't think, and we can have this debate if you guys think otherwise or not, or anybody out there, I don't think that there is I don't think a kid goes out and reads a violent comic and commits a violent act. I don't think violence,
I agree,
experience does not cause violence. Does it impact us emotionally, or can it desensitize one to violence? I think there's something there, but I don't think watching a violent act causes violence.
I think if you're a disturbed, like if you are someone who's mentally unwell, and you know there are these things, like, but you're having these types of inclinations or thoughts, I think then you could. These things can maybe set you off, but but in and of itself, I think it makes no sense. Otherwise, you know, everybody who listened to goofy devil music when they were kids, or you know, punk rock, or, you know, these goofy comic books or horror movies would be out murdering people. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah, and we all remember. I mean, we all lived through the 80s. We remember the Satanic Panic. Do you know how many times when people found out? Even my own mother at first was like, wait, this Dungeons and Dragons, didn't I see that on a talk show about how it's causing kids to worship the devil? I'm like, Mom, we're rolling dice and fighting goblins. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah, there. Oh, yeah, remember the mind flare? But, you know, let's not start on the mind flare.
Right. Yeah. Maybe a mind flare could cause such a thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love it. I love the conversation that it started in the movie, and I like that you went there with it. That, you know, it provoked a lot of these questions in me, and I'm sure it did in other people. So it was one of the reasons why I found it to be so well done. Is it's not just straight, you know, Wortham bad, and, you know, blah blah blah. You know, but yeah, I really thought it was great.
Both sides. It's showing both sides.
That's what I try to just kind of show a portrait of the person, all, you know, not take a stance, you know, so much. Although I guess I'm sympathetic to the character in that, you know, he's more of a you know, a actual person than, I guess, people just kind of look at him as a boogeyman, right? And he's more than just that. And that's why I've made a few other projects about him. I will say I have a big fascination about. You ever see the Woody Allen film Zelig? Do you know that film?
I don't know that one.
Like, it's about this fictional character. It's made as if it were a documentary, and it's this fictional character named Zelig, and he keeps popping up in history, kind of like Forrest Gump, right? He's sort of
Right.
in all these places at the right time. He's like, there with Lyndon Johnson or whatever. Wortham is this guy who's like pops up in history at all these really incredible moments, like, people he knows, things he's been involved with, a major thinker in these movements. Like, when you go through his papers, like, he kind of knew every really important person at the time. He was well known, but he's sort of been written out of history in a way because of this madness with the comics thing.
Yeah.
And so that's why I've kind of been fascinated in looking at, like, I made a short about his, he met and knew, Alfred Hitchcock, and had this whole big conversation about
That's
violence.
a good one.
About violence in film and stuff, which violence has been a thing of his always and through all his work. And he actually believed, he wrote a book called A Sign for Cain. And he talks about in this book that he thinks he's this much of an altruist. He thinks that violence can be eradicated in society, like that as humans, we can eradicate.
I saw that part of the movie, which is another thing that made me wrinkle my brow.
Yeah, that is an altruistic stance on things. And I've always been fascinated by that.
Maybe Pollyanna-ish.
Yeah, but yeah, for sure. But also something kind of incredible about that you want to work towards that. Like, hey, we might never get there, but if we work towards it, what can society be like? And so I've always been fascinated by that. And I've made a number of films about, violence in America. And he's always sort of been a seed of that. And the latest thing I did was this relationship that he had with the publisher, Al Hewitson, who was the editor and writer for the Skywald publications like Nightmare, Scream, Psycho, those horror mags.
Derek just brought something up, and it goes into my next question, just real, and maybe we don't want to go too much. I know Rich has some specific questions about your other stuff, but the about Bill Gaines, and I'd always known, I'd seen clips of Bill Gaines, and how terrible he was in like how he should never have been anywhere near this hearing.
That's right.
And but no, I was talking about the one where he's talking about his relationship with Bill Gaines, and
not Bill Clinton, Bill Gaines,
right? but like Gaines, how truly damaging his testimony is, and how he's like bad. He's nearly an idiot. Like it's really bad.
It is. Really it's a shame too, because as we know, I mean, we all know, we've read EC Comics, we know the history of EC. I mean, he was a super smart, sharp guy with a great sense of humor, who we're making these beloved comics. But I do always say, like, if you go back and look at those EC Comics, like I have 4 daughters. Would I have let my 7-year-old daughter read some of those EC Comics? Probably not.
Yeah.
Would they have gotten their hands on them anyway? Probably. Would they have been fine? Probably. Right. But as parents, we have to make the judgment call about what we want our kids to see. So, there's some intense content in there, but man, he botched it on every level, and they were just kind of waiting for him, right? Like they had responses to everything he had.
They were setting him up, man. They were setting him up.
They were. And Rich, 100% they were setting him up. And for me, that is when they pull out that "Are you a red dupe?" Right?
Yeah.
Sitting on that.
Like, what the hell?
Like, what are you trying to say? Like, was this a threat to us to kind of put us off this game here?
Man.
And then he kind of doubles down.
Yeah.
He's like, well, maybe. It's like, wait, what? What are you dude? Get your lawyer right now. Don't say these things.
And it was great to have. I believe I'm the last person to have interviewed Al Feldstein before he died. And
that was really fascinating.
Yeah, on the DVD, and I can kind of send it to you guys too, because it's an extra on the DVD. Man. I make an extra on the actual DVD itself. of the entire unedited interview with Al, which is when we spent a lot of time. We went to his ranch in Montana. He put us up. He was
Wow.
super cool. Showed us like all original artwork and like his paintings that he had done of like old EC stuff and his new paint. Like he was a big time
man.
nature painter in his later years.
That'd have been badass.
Yeah, and he was just so awesome to me and the crew, and
That's
like,
great.
took us in for
Yeah,
a couple
it
of
is.
days, and we spent all that time. And it's his perspective, because if you know the story of EC, like him and Al and Bill Gaines, they had a falling out in their time, and he talks about that, and he gets emotional about it and stuff about, and but in that he says like, we didn't want him to do it. He was warned against, but he insisted on testifying. And it just went to shit. And then he said, afterwards, he kind of wasn't the same about that. And he does like just kind of throw himself on the fire too. And he was like, fine, you don't want these comics, then to hell with you. And he like rips them up, right?
Rips
it's like
them
the
up.
biggest fuck you. Like, fine. Okay, we made this thing that you loved. And now that you left me to hang out to dry, it's gone.
Yeah. It was, I mean,
what I thought of after watching it the second time, it's like, if all that didn't happen, what would the landscape right now be like with comics? I mean,
I wonder that too.
honestly, because the way you structured it in the video, you even said it in the documentary that, that it kind of helped shape and push the other publishers into the hero aspect of comics. Before that it was crime and monsters and stuff like that, but until all that went down, they really weren't looking at that. They were
a lot of people forget, like Captain America, they stopped the run on that, right? It was not a popular book at one point, and then they revived it in this post era. So some people say, and I think there's something to it, that like when all the horror and crime comics went away and they really saturated the market, what were we going to publish? Well, we got all these superheroes, right? Let's kind of let's
that's what I'm saying. What would it be like right now?
Yeah.
If Wortham never did all that, if all that stuff hadn't happened. So it's what I was thinking about today. I was like, man, I wonder what it would be like right now, as far as comics and the comic industry. So yeah,
I wonder that myself too. Like if the superheroes would have slowly come back, or that was just something organic that happened, then it would have happened, and we would have had all of these crime and horror. As we saw the horror comics make a comeback in the 70s.
Yeah.
Right. And one thing I really appreciate on a lot of the YouTube channels I watch, and even some of the younger comic guys, like collecting that rebirth of horror comics in that era. A lot of people are really into that, which is kind of cool to see, because as a kid, I wasn't really into those comics, and
neither was I.
That rebirth of the horror stuff.
I mean, other than like Man Thing, Ghost Rider, that stuff I was into.
Yeah, like they're sort of tangentially horror, but like the true sort of horror stuff. I was like all about superheroes, and as a kid, I was like Marvel all the way. I didn't touch a DC comic until I was like
all X-Men
until I was an adult. And now I've totally shifted. Most of what I read is DC and some Marvel, but as a kid, it was like DC. Who's got time for those like goody two shoes?
Yeah,
yeah. But I know Rich had some questions about his other videos.
Kind of shift over to your more recent. That's the word.
Yeah, the channel, the episodes.
Your channel stuff. You started, I assume, back in January to do this year-long kind of thing. And
yeah, I knew
about that, and I got a couple of questions about a few of the episodes and stuff.
Yeah. So I'm a big, I'm like my kids. I'm a big YouTube watcher. And really, I watch a couple of different genres in YouTube. I watch a shit ton of comics YouTube, and I watch a lot of maker stuff, like, wood makers, metal makers, and
same here.
Different kind of makers in that sense. If I were to give a shout out to any channel, it would be, not that he needs it, but Craftsman. Have you ever seen Craftsman's channel? He does a lot of kit bashing with action figures and stuff. The Craftsman, and he's nobody knows who he is. He always represents himself as a puppet, but he's definitely someone that's been in the film industry. When you look at his stuff, he looks like he was a former or current special effects guy, but his work is incredible.
What's it called again? What's the channel again?
It's called Craftsman, but without the T, like CRAFSMAN, Craftsman.
Craftsman. Okay.
Yeah. And he talks in like this Creole accent. He hides his voice a little, and that's where he's from. And he talks about, if you read, he says like, my family is from Louisiana, like in that area. So he'll be like, Craftsman here. Like it's incredible. His work is incredible. Yeah. Definitely nerd culture stuff. Like he's a total 80s guy. So he's like our age, because everything he's into is like toys, cartoons, comic stuff from that era. His channel is really awesome. So, I watch a lot of maker stuff. I watch a lot of comic stuff. And, as I said at the beginning, I'm watching all these YouTube comics people. And like, it just seemed like it was like all of a sudden, like all these great channels were popping up. Like, and I'm like subscribing to them all. And I'm like, oh man, I love this. Like, I love comics. Like, I want to be a part of this. Right. And I was like, I don't have the collection that these guys have. Like, I'm watching like Alan's channel. Like, you look at his background,
Alan,
yes. Like, like, how can I ever, even you might like Chunk, like both you guys, like, I look at these channels. I'm like, I just don't have the collection to say like, hey, look what I got, or, the collection or the bank, I should say. Right. So I was like, how can I get involved in this? And I was, and share what I have in my comics and what I love about comics. And I was like,
I think you have a valuable voice. I mean, you have like a certain knowledge base that I think none of us have. And you've had a unique opportunity to look into stuff that I don't think any of us have ever had.
Yeah. So that's what I was hoping to bring is like these little mini documentaries or video essays about some sort of historical or cultural moment around comics, and then share the comics from my collection that relate to that topic. And I was like, I knew it was going to take, because I'm kind of a bit of a obsessive perfectionist myself. And my wife was like, what are you doing now? And I was like, I'm going to do this series of and I was like, but don't worry, I'm going to just set a goal to do it for a year, one a month, because I knew it would take me about a month.
The hardest Chanco's on.
It takes the longest part of these is to really write the script for it. That's another thing I'm kind of always like when I watch both you guys in particular, Chanco, when you like, I don't know, do you like is it okay to call you Chanco? I don't know if that's okay.
Yeah, it's become my thing now.
Okay.
At first I was like, oh man, but now you can't wash it off. It is what it is. You can't you can't unscrew it now.
Yeah.
It is.
So I'm always amazed. Like you're a great channel, like at the end of the night, because like when you pop on, it just kind of comes on and you're just so at ease and comfortable in the mind. And you're just like, hey everybody, like what's going on? And you just kind of like sort of roll into it. There's like a real ease about it. And I'm not a real ease guy. Like I need the script. I'm like a real formalist with it. And I'm like, how would I even do if I tried to
structured
get on? Yeah. And just say like, here's what I have. So that's why I love watching hauls and people just kind of extemporaneously.
I think everybody has to find their own voice, like what what you like and how you're like what I made. I talked about the comment that you left on my video and how much I appreciated it, that you were picking up what I was trying to do and it was just being conversational. And it's a lot. It goes, I don't know if you're familiar with Steve Dahl, anybody, Steve and Gary. Steve Dahl is like the predecessor of Howard Stern. He was doing just conversational radio for a very, very long time, kind of goofing around. And I used to watch that or listen to that when I was very young. And the whole thought was just, I'm not going to edit out any mistakes. It's just going to be me. And I'm going to talk just how I normally talk to people and how I talk in my day-to-day life. And if people like it, they'll like it. And if they don't like it, well, they don't really like me very much.
Yeah. And so, and like, and with Rich the other night too, I'm glad to see you're doing well, but, and, I only heard sort of whisperings about it. And then when I found out, when you had sort of come on and said what happened, that was, I like ran to my wife. I don't know, we sort of think about these things when we're all the same age. Right.
Right.
But the other night, maybe it was your video the night before last, and you were sort of giving a health update, and it's like very personal, and then you just kind of seamlessly transition to, and here's some Conan books I got, like, you know, I'm just like, man, that is like, that's YouTube at its best, right? When you can like be like as personal and vulnerable as you possibly can be, and then you're like, all right, here's what we're here for. I got this great box from Portugal or wherever it was from, you know, that Conan.
That's Brazil, I think, right? Brazil.
That's why me and Chaco are we get along pretty good, because we're both kind of not the same, but kind of the same. You know, we're both like just being ourselves and just, you know, being personal and hanging out. You know,
and that's what I love. Like, you know, what I said about Mike's channel, it's like, and with your channel for sure. And I just kind of feel like you're in the room. It's just a vibe, man. It's just a vibe.
Goal.
That's what we're trying to do.
I don't think my stuff is like you're in the room, which is fine. But like, that's why I was thinking, like, how can I contribute? And I was like, let me use my skills as a filmmaker to kind of take a deep dive, share the limited collection I have.
I absolutely love it. I love the series that you're pumping out, and I can't wait for the next one. I understand why you only do it once a month, but I hate to have to wait that long.
I know. At first I was like, you know, if, you know, and I was a little worried, because it's like, you know, that idea, and like YouTube, it's like, one, if you're not producing content all the time, are people going to be like, all right, who gives a shit? I'm out. And two, and this was so encouraging. Like, you know, I'm used to hearing about like how our children absorb content, and it's like all they can take are little bits. Like, you know, this culture just needs little bits. And I was trying to explain to my wife, because she was like, wait, you're making a video that's 25 minutes long? And I'm like, well, wait, listen. And she was like, for YouTube. I'm like, it's cool. Like, people want to be like, I'm on there every night watching 4 20-minute videos, and like, it doesn't feel like that because I'm in it. I love what's happening. I'm part of it. I'm in it. I was like, I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to make these longer form comics, longer form videos, and just see if you know, people go for it. And,
dude, you're hitting all the marks. I mean, you're making them personable. You're talking about things out of your life, and just the way they're structured. And talking about intros, I love the intro. I absolutely just love
that's my nod to like 80s.
Yes,
like
it is so freaking badass, man. I love it. And talking about the different episodes and stuff. There's one in particular that I was going to kind of wait a little bit to say, but I want to just go ahead and I've been chomping at the bit to say to you how much I love 88.
Yeah.
That one, man, that one hits me.
Well, that means a lot to me, as I'm sure you can imagine why. Yeah.
It hits me so close to home, because your relationship with you and your cousin, I mean, that parallels me and my cousin Jamie. He's been on here a few times and stuff in the chats and stuff, but we were like that, man. And when I watched that video, dude, it was just like, holy shit, dude, it is so scary how parallel, it happened and occurred and everything.
Yeah.
But talk a little bit about that, if you wouldn't mind.
I've always wanted to make a film about my cousin, our relationship, and over the years I've thought about how can I do this, and I always wanted to connect that PXL 2000 in some way, because it was sort of the thing that brought us together on so many levels. And then when I started making this series, and I was like, man, the year that came out was kind of a big year for us in what was happening in comics and with the PXL. And so I was like, that's it. Like, let me make this personal film about comics that we read at that time and talk about our relationship, because some of the biggest, memories I have, as I'm sure with you guys, growing up, is my experience with comics and with friends. And one of the best things I love, like I can remember being in like 1990, like hanging out in a friend's bedroom. Like, we just went to the local comic shop and we bought our comics, and we're just in there, like on the floor, like reading our comics, like not really we're reading our comics. And then if something cool happens, it's like, yo, this new issue of Excalibur is crazy. Like, look at this. and just like that kind of camaraderie and the friendship, like, was such a memorable thing, and that's why, and I hadn't had that for so many years. And that's another reason why comics YouTube is such a great thing, because it's like having that
having that again. Yeah.
People again.
Yeah.
I get it a little bit when I go to my LCS and, you hang out in there and you talk to the owner and you come in, other people come in, you bust each other's chops. What's happening? What are you reading? What's going on? Like, that sort of little micro once a week or whatever.
Yeah.
Is great. But,
this is better.
Yeah.
Way better. Yeah.
So I knew I wanted to make that issue, that episode about him. And what I don't say, my cousin died tragically. What I think is tragically, I don't say it I don't think I say how he dies in that episode, but he dies of a drug overdose. He was clean for many years. And then, this was during this, the fentanyl thing. And so I had a couple of family members that, got bit by that. And so, one time back, after being clean and, that'll get you. So, and, I loved that kid, man. And he was like, a brother, not just a cousin to me. And, comics were a big part of our lives. And he really, like I said, in that sort of set me on to my filmmaking track in those early films that we made together.
That's terrible. I'm sorry to hear that.
And when I look at, and I'm sure I know you guys deal with this because I've heard you talk about it, Mike, like when you make something and you really believe in this thing, and then you look at the numbers and you're like, man, why did only 100 people watch that thing? And then I made the one about Marvel graphic novels, and like 2,000 people have watched that.
That's the next one I was going to talk about.
And when I look at the analytics, like, they have not just checked in on it, like they've watched it. And then I was like, okay, let me tap in. I tried to like get all zeitgeisty. I was like, all right, I'm going to make one about Fantastic Four and a friend of mine was like, yo, tap into something that's happening. His name's Michael Russo. I thank him at the end. He's like, make something about Fantastic Four. The movie's about to come out. I was like, I've never been a huge Fantastic Four fan, but I do have an idea. And I made this one about Fantastic Four and didn't get a lot of views on that. And it's like,
it's so weird. The algorithm is bizarre. And like some of the stuff, like my biggest videos are things that I wasn't expecting, like people would be that interested in it. But it does seem that people are more interested in your perspective on something rather than showing them comic books. And I do a lot of unboxings and I do a lot of, but that's one of the, it's like, it's one of the reasons why I have a channel. I was explaining when, answering one of my questions on the question and answers is like, when I would get a cool comic, I had nobody to show it to, but now I do. I can say, hey, look at this cool thing. It's a bit, cathartic to that part of my personality that wants that. But then what people really like is it seems is the more personally you get and the more like, real you are, the more you just talk and you talk about, what you like or your opinion on something, or here's my top 20 this, or that people love that more than hey, look at the comic I got. And I'm finding that more and more.
Look at the comic. When you were like, I think I'm going to pull back on unboxing, I was like, oh man, like actually one of the videos I'm going to probably make in my series is an unboxing video, but I'm sort of playing with the idea of it I don't want to give it away, but I kind of love unboxing. I love pool stuff. Like comics are dope when he does his like pool stuff. Like,
he's the best.
Yeah.
That's like,
it's so funny.
His sweet ass voice and the great light. And he's just like, I like watching that every week. I'm still like kind of way nerdy into that. And then of course, when someone does get, more personal, that always makes a stronger connection in a lot of ways.
Well, I'll still do both for sure.
Yeah,
I'm not going to get away from it. I'm too selfish.
Yeah.
And that graphic novel, when you use this, I was just watching it before we came on here. I was watching it again because it was that's another good one. I really, it makes me, that's some of the books that I've been kicking around about getting, but I just never have gotten. And then when I was watching your video and stuff, I was like, why don't I have those?
Yeah,
those things, those are highly collect. I mean, they're not because they're collectible, but they're just they're revered by a lot of people, and I don't know why. Some of those books, I'm just like, I don't know why I don't get those. Those are so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, to have.
God Loves, Man Kills is one of the best stories.
Oh,
one of the best X-Men
Some of
stories
the
ever
most
told.
like important comics to me come in that. For that episode is like where I got like one of my first kind of negative or critical comments in one of the comments. Like someone was like, "This is total fanboy service bullshit." I'm like, what? Like these are the comics that I
Feed me with your
Yeah,
hatred.
you got christened, man. This
I kind of was like,
You still watched.
yeah, I was like, I wrote like, oh, that's so funny, and I just was like, tell me which ones you like. These are the ones that have affected me and the ones I like. But tell me the ones that you like, that were in there.
Hey, hate watches count. It still counts for my.
They're still watching them. They're still watching them. Yeah.
Right. I think there's like one person who like compulsively gives me thumbsy downsies, and I haven't figured out like the rhyme or reason, because there'll be like certain things like where I'm like really opinionated on whatever, and it's like all thumbs up, and then it'll be something like totally innocent, like nothing thing, and it's just like always one person with a thumbs down. I have no idea why.
It's trolling.
It's bizarre. Yeah, the troll thing. It's bizarre.
Troll thing. It's just
I don't see. And the good thing is maybe I'm not reading every comic, but I don't see a whole lot of it. Maybe I'm ignorant to that, And when I try to comment as much as I can, positively on things I see, because I also know, one, I want to be part of the conversation, and two, I know, it helps out, all these creators that I want to see keep making videos, because I like what's going on. That's why I love, Jason, Archivist Adrift, like.
He's great.
He's great, man.
I told him I hope he's here. If he's not, I said him.
He is.
He hasn't forgotten. But I hope before my series is done, I want to do a collaborative video with him. Like that's kind of like my dream collab. Is
oh yeah, man, that'd be awesome, dude.
Him, because
I'm really glad that you're making videos in this space specifically, because we need a lot. We need more unique voices where people have their own perspective. Like there's a lot of derivative stuff that's going on, and that's fine too. I mean, I watch all my friends and stuff, but like someone who has a unique perspective, like you were mentioning Archivist, where there's like a different angle on things, or just like a different skill set that people have, that's so fascinating to me, and it's stuff that I'm glad that the space seems to be growing and, incorporating more and more perspectives and more like, I don't know, very varied kind of videos. I think it's refreshing, and it's a lot of fun. I always have fun,
One more question. With your series, you're going to do it for a year. So I assume December will be the last one, 12. What is your plans and thoughts of after that? Or you got to keep making videos.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about that. They're too damn good, Bobby, not to keep making them, man. I'm telling you.
I've been thinking about do I keep going? Can I sustain this? I'm also, currently I'm working on a feature documentary, as well as, and one thing I'm always fascinated about everybody else too is like, man, what are they doing in real life? Like, how does that, like, how different is that? I say in real life, obviously this is real life too, but like,
kind of,
what do you guys do? Like when you're not, like, cause you just exist to me, like in this box on the TV. It's like, you kind of like, everybody's sort of this little celebrity that you go and watch. And it's like, what do they do when they're not on the screen? I'm sort of fascinated by that, but
I think that's why the question video I did, there were so many questions, because I think people have the same thing. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting, kind of the same people I talked to. So yeah, sorry to interrupt, but I think that's a common thing.
Yeah. And so, I'm trying to think what I can sustainably do. And one of my friends is like, you got to keep going. Like you can't stop. So
yeah, I agree with your friend.
I'm not exactly sure what I'll do, if I can pare it back maybe, or maybe make it, because some of the comic people I like,
turn it up.
Turn it up.
I'll try to turn it. Some of the comic people I do like post maybe even a little less frequently than I do, and I'm still like, when they post a new one, I'm like, all right, Like, you know who's great, and he was posting so much for a while, but hasn't because he's like he has a young family. Pocket full of comics. Do you know him?
Comics. Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering, like he was posting a lot, and now he doesn't post that much.
Yeah, all the time. You know, back when he first inherited his grandfather, and he just popped up in my algorithm. It was like, I inherited my grandfather's collection. I'm like,
right.
Oh, let me see what this guy got. And then, so I can be jealous about it. But then he's like the nicest guy in the world. The last thing you can be is like jealous. You're just like excited how excited he is by comics. And man, I was there for every video. But he has said in his things, he's like, look, summertime is tough for me. I think he's a carpenter by trade. And so he was like building a shed outside of his house and taking care and being with his little kids. So he has said, like, look, I'm not posting very frequently right now, but when fall and winter come back, I'll be smashing on again a lot. And so I'm like, well, maybe I can not be as frequent and people will still watch if I post things, or maybe I can do intermittent little things. Cause you know, also what I found out too is, you know, I guess cause I'm ignorant. I don't know what, like if you make like my shorts, like when I do like little 30-second shorts that are sometimes just little promos for my long videos, they'll get like a couple thousand views and like, you know, like that.
Well, I think you're a really talented filmmaker. And I think like that, you know, I mean, just see, Brian came. He was on last week, and he had some really good advice for channels. I don't know if you caught last week's
not all,
interview. But you know, some really good advice. One of the great pieces of advice is kind of like you're kind of finding your own voice, and like for you, since you're a really talented filmmaker, you know, even if like you said, you know, you're busy, you can't post as often. I think what you can bring to bear first is a unique voice, and you can produce these things better than we can. Yeah. We're just kind of we're kind of like, you know, apes, like bonk bonk bonk, you know, like.
But I'll tell you, I mean, I've had a couple people early on like write me like Garage Geek who has said like, hey, and another channel I really like, I watch all the time is Mr. E, the Low Grade King. I don't know if you ever watch his stuff. I like him just because, you know, he's like, he just shows his hauls and his top 10 lists, and he's just chill. He's kind of like, I don't know. I'm just kind of mesmerized by his stuff and his collection. Like, you know, he wrote and said, I'm not happy with my, you know, image. How can I make it better? And I'm like, here's some tips, but I mean, it looks good to me. Like, I mean, I look as a filmmaker, I'm looking at channels and I think stuff looks great. Like, you know, there's no channel I'm really looking at. I'm like, man, it's got to improve.
I think there is something to, you know, finding your voice. Sometimes it takes time. I mean, but like finding what you enjoy. And I think that comes across. Like if you can kind of find what, you know, what you enjoy, what you're comfortable with, and excuse me, but like, what you're going to be able to do, and you're going to not only feel comfortable doing it, but you're going to be happy with the end result. Like I think if you're just trying to like mimic somebody else or you know, change to be what someone else is doing, I just can't imagine you're going to be happy doing that.
Yeah, you know, and that's the thing, right? Like we do this thing because nobody, I don't think, maybe I'm wrong, is making big money right now on comics YouTube. Maybe some people
there are a couple. Comics Explained has like 2.5 million.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Very few people are, right. Most people are doing this for love of the game, right?
Yep, that's right. So exactly.
If you don't love the game, then what's the point, right? So that's kind of too what makes it sort of great is everybody's doing this because they love comics and they love being part of this thing. Like, you know, where like what's great is I love when I hear about like people are like, oh yeah, I went through you know, I was in the state of this, like we met up in you know, IRL, we met in real life. Yes. Which is, you know, kind of fun to hear.
Is that a World of Warcraft reference that you just made?
So you had mentioned earlier, Bob, about some books. Let's show some books.
Oh yeah, can I show some stuff?
Please do.
Yeah,
we love that part.
Like I said,
I was really curious.
Probably not, you know, as great as the stuff on the wall.
Oh no. What excites me is what excites you. Like I love when somebody gets something that they're happy with. That makes me happy.
Yeah, me too. I love seeing someone's collection to see what they have.
Yeah, my stuff is my stuff. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter to anybody else.
Doesn't matter to anybody.
I pulled some things that have meaning. Some of these appear in videos I made, so they might be familiar if people have
Okay.
seen it. And if people, I imagine probably there's a number of people on here that haven't seen my channel, so maybe this will whet their appetite for that.
There we go.
So the first two things I pulled that I thought was fun, and I'm curious about you guys, for you, what this is, but like these are the two earliest, and I was trying to really remember where I got these, and there's something telling about the type of comic they are that might help with that. But these are the oldest comics I remember like getting myself, and they're from 1982. And so the first one, and this is my favorite superhero. Maybe he's sort of edged out by Batman recently, because to me, there's no greater superhero. The pathos, of Batman. Batman is just the greatest.
Everyone loves Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A close tie for me personally is Daredevil. And this is the earliest Daredevil I remember getting, 191 from 1982. And this is the last issue. Frank Miller had stopped his run for a bit, and he came back to write and draw this one. And this is that famous the Russian roulette issue, if you know this,
right.
where he had that battle. He Bullseye's in the hospital, and he goes there with the gun, and he's like kind of pulling the trigger on him while he's paralyzed in the bed. And it's like that great Frank Miller tension that he builds through the episode, and with paralleled with the story, the kid gets his dad's gun and shoots somebody.
Yeah.
So
Daredevil's complicated and a really well-written character.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. And the other from the same year is the Uncanny X-Men 167. I just remember seeing this cover and being like, wow, what is he dead? Like, who is this guy? What's happening here? And there's so many different people that appear. I don't know if that's is that in focus or out of focus?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
So these are the two earliest comics I can remember getting. But one is a direct edition and one is
Newsy.
Yeah.
And so when I was a kid, I bought comics. We had a little market in town. This was back when we had we had a corner store across from us called Selma's Deli, where we had, when I was a kid, we had a tab. I went to the store and was like, can we have a pound of cheese and ham? Put it on our tab. My mom will pay it at the end of the week. I came from a small town of 2,000 people. They had a spinner rack in there, and they had a comic stand at B&J's Deli down the road. And the other place I bought comics, my grandmother worked at a Woolworths.
You're speaking my language, man.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
I wish she worked at the counter, at the grill in Woolworths. She was a waitress at the countertop. And I remember going in there, sitting up on the little seat spinner at Woolworth and seeing the comics and getting something off the grill. God, I just pine for those times. So those are the two earliest comics that I remember getting. Do you guys remember your earliest comics?
I do. I repurchased mine recently. The very first thing I ever owned was this Hulk Treasury edition. Someone got me when it was I can't remember. It was it inspired me to learn to read when I got this.
I love it.
Cool. Mine, I can't pull mine out. It was a Conan. It was a Conan book. I still actually have the original book.
Wow, that's great.
These are the original. But actually, I love hearing when people don't have their originals and the hunt to get them. I like
she
that.
She worked at it wasn't a Woolworths. It was called Woody's, and she went up to get her check, and she was like, to keep me busy, I was looking at a spinner rack. It's like, Mom, I gotta have this one. Can I have this one, please? And she's like, I don't know about that, And I was like, oh, please, it can count towards my birthday.
I could relate.
Yeah, I just was.
I love the negotiating we even did as kids. If I get this now, then you don't have to get me anything for my birthday. If I can just get this one thing right now.
Yes.
And no concept of money, because I was just like, you just got your paycheck, you can afford it, I said we can get it,
I have this picture of me when I was a kid on Christmas. I can't remember. I must have been maybe 7 or 8. Actually, if somebody knows this, maybe they can tell me. And in the picture, I'm ripping open and holding up a present, and it was the Incredible Hulk figure that you could pump up, and he could and he got bigger and he would break out of a cage. Does anybody have that toy? Remember that when they were a kid?
Yeah, I remember that.
Vaguely remember. I mean, I remember. Well, I love the Hulk. But yeah, I remember there were so many there were these weird shields that you could get where you could like you would like do the spin, and it was like a almost like a frisbee thing that would launch off of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the old figures with like the canvas. What were they? Like,
like the Mego.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, that's why I'm just kind of really. So two things. So this is So I said I like POV covers. This is one of my favorite. This is one of the more, I guess, valuable comics I have.
Nice.
Tales, number 27. I love this POV here.
You know that's a series that I'm trying to get the whole run.
Yeah, I think I saw when you had mentioned about. Do you have this issue?
I do. I've got a file copy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you might have. I think you might. Did you? How long ago did you post about that?
Well, I showed it. Alan wanted to see my Richest Tales run, and in the question and answer, and I just showed my favorite ones and my worst one.
Okay. So that's one I really love. This comic I love too. This is one of my sort of older comics. This is
nice.
Suspense 29. The reason why I have this and the reason why I love this is because inside, this is from 1953. There's a story inside of this called the Raving Maniac.
Wow.
And it's great because it's about this guy who comes busting into a comic book editor's office and he's like, comics are ruining kids. Like, what are you and he busts into like, a horror comics office. And he's like, these violent comics are ruining kids' minds. You need to shut this place down. And he's going nuts. And the editor's like, whoa, buddy. And then all of a sudden, like these two, like hospital dudes come in and pull him out. The guy's like he escaped from a loony bin, and they pull him out. And then they show that editor go home to his kid, and he's like reading a bedtime story to his, like he's just like a normal dad who's reading a story to his kid, and the guy who busts in. So I love that tale.
Is that an Atlas book?
Yeah, it's Atlas. Yep.
Atlas. Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't know if that will. Yep. I have no recollection. Someone gave this to me a long, long time ago, and this is my fascination with this book. And I'm a storyteller. I love stories. I wish I could remember the story on this, but I said I liked Daredevil even when I was a little kid. And I don't know who thought to do this, but someone gave me Daredevil number 9.
Wow, that's cool.
I didn't know who it was. It's a Wally Wood cover, and Wally Wood does the layouts on the inside. He doesn't do the inks, but he doesn't do the pencil.
Badass, man.
I used to just kind of stare at that image because I just liked how intense his horns were on this, and it's in fairly good shape of this comic. But I don't remember who gave it to me. But someone must have said to me like, "Hey, you like Daredevil comics as a little kid? Like, I have this comic. Here you go."
Wow,
that's awesome.
That's great.
Yeah, that is awesome.
So people find out I have one great comic book story. And people find I've taught the history of comics in college as well, and I've made movies about comics. And someone came to me one time. I've had people come to me multiple times, like, "Oh, hey, I have this comic book. Is it worth anything?" They'll come in, and it's like, some garbage from the 90s or whatever, and I'm like, cool story in this, but it's probably, I don't know how great it is. But then, so I had a coworker come in and say, "Hey, my family found this comic my uncle kept in a safe. My uncle passed away, and we opened the safe, and there's just one comic book inside." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I mean, who knows?" Like, and I said the story. Like, a lot of people tell me things. I don't know, how much it'll be worth or whatever. And,
it's an action one.
Not quite, but close.
Fantasy 15.
I'm trying to get keep guessing. I want to see if you can get what it is.
Tech 27.
No. So they come in. They give me. She brings in the comic. She pulls it out of a paper bag. I'm looking at it, and after a second, I was like, "Yeah, I think you got something here." It's Wiz Comics number 1.
Oh my God.
First appearance of Captain Marvel. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, I think you got something here. It was legit. It wasn't like a reprint or anything like that. And that's the only time ever someone brought something in, and I was like, yeah, you got something.
Yeah.
The other comic I love, and I profile this in the one.
Did you tell them you give them $10, or?
Yeah, I said, do I get a finder's fee for?
Yeah.
They held on to it.
Right.
The other comic, I profile this in one of my series too, and this is the Sinister House of Secret Love. And the reason why I like this comic book is because it's one of the earliest uses in print of the word graphic novel at the bottom that it says. And if you watch my
graphic novel,
if you watch my graphic novels, where I put this in context and sort of the history of the use of the word graphic novel as applied to comic books. And Rich will like this one. This is
just before you did you in the graphic novel one, I haven't watched it, but did you it rhymes with lust?
No, so it's only it's only about it's only about Marvel graphic novels.
Oh, okay.
Marvel novels,
yes.
Yeah.
And so what I do leading up to that is I don't do a history of the graphic novel. I do a history of the word graphic novel and where it came from, from its first use. And then I sort of talk about my favorite Marvel graphic novels. And
the Marvel ones. Yeah.
History
it rhymes with lust. It's a
excellent video. Excellent.
I think it's the first, and it's Matt Baker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
Sorry.
I know. Yeah.
I jumped on top of you there.
No problem.
I didn't mean to.
Rich, you might like this one because you got a this is Scream #1, which is from Skywald Comics.
Wow.
Which is like,
it's really cool.
Because you got an issue with Scream, right? That recently.
No, Psycho.
Psycho. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Same publisher, Scream #1.
Yeah, that is awesome.
And this is great too, because this kicks off the video I made about Wortham and Al Hewitson, the publisher of Skywald, or the editor of Skywald and writer, because in this he writes a comic about Wortham and Len Darvin. If you know, Len Darvin is like the third administrator for the Comics Code.
Oh, wow.
Third.
Huh.
And so they wander into, it's kind of like the Raving Lunatic, where that dad busts into the comics office. So Len Darvin and Frederick Wortham bust into Al Hewitt's office, saying, "You got to stop publishing these horror comics. They're so violent." And then they hack Al Hewitson to pieces. So they become the violent thing that they hate. He sends a copy to Wortham and says, "What do you think of this?" And Wortham's like, "Unfortunately, while I think I have a good humor, violence is too much of a problem for me to laugh at this horrifying."
Show that cover. Show that cover again, Bobby.
Yeah. Let me take it out of here.
I like to get a good look at it. That was awesome.
Oh yeah, I love it.
Yes.
Really cool.
Yeah.
I like
and
that.
Man, the
that's
art
going on the list.
The art in these in both there's a lot of different horror magazines, right? But the art in them is always gorgeous, and mostly it's black and white. And a lot of these people also, went on to or also drew concurrently for the big two, but like just fantastic art throughout all the Skywald publications.
Really
the last thing I'll show is one thing I haven't collected in years, but I have about a dozen pieces myself. Is for a while I was really into collecting comic pages, original pages. One of my favorites I'll share as the last thing is this page here, which is drawn by Tom Rainey, an artist I like. I don't know if you know who Tom Rainey is, but this is Captain Marvel. The Marvel's Captain Marvel.
Okay.
Who I really love, and this page comes from during the Civil War, and it's from this issue called The Return, where remember Captain Marvel is one of the few characters in Marvel that gets dead and stays dead pretty much, but sort of they have him kind of come back in this, and they were sort of as a preparation for a mini series that they were going to do. But that is that original page, or that original art is it's from right here. And what I love about it too, and why I love comic art, is like I could stare at comic inking for hours.
That's right.
Just beauty.
I'm the same way, man.
It's just like how they're able to make that line work. It's just incredible. It almost looks like it's not real, right? And what I love about this too is how the coloring is not done. So none of the backgrounds are there in the space, and that's all done either digitally or through the colorist, which is just kind of fascinating, right?
Yeah, that's awesome, dude.
The actual what goes into making comic books. So that's just stuff I wanted to share.
That's amazing.
Well, Bobby, that was all that was awesome, man. I swear, and you're definitely I don't know what Mike thinks, but yeah, I think you're going to be probably one of our first return guests.
Yeah, we could definitely talk a lot more, and yeah, and I think I think you were saying you'd love to be part of the comic book community. I think you firmly are. I think people are. You're going to probably receive quite a few more invitations to come out and talk to some other folks. I think everybody's going to be very fascinated by you, and I think this really great interview, and I think we learned a lot, and I think real interesting stuff that another great voice to add to the other voices that we have
in the community. Yeah, another great voice to the community for sure. That's why if you guys are not subbed to Bobby, man, you are missing out.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're going to be like me. You're going to be like waiting impatiently every time he drops a new video because it takes a.
The next one is going to be in the next few days. They always come out at the end of the month before the month ends.
Okay, well, that's good.
A week before, sometimes days before. I actually filmed. So this next one, which is about silent comics, the other night I filmed the whole voiceover for it. And this one I do just like this because I was like, I want to do it like Mike and Rich. I want to be in front of in front of the microphone, looking right on. But of course, it's fully scripted. And I recorded the whole thing, and like the mic was something happened with my mic knob. It was too high, too hot, and it was like a little distorted. I couldn't fix it. I was like, shit, man.
Damn it.
My wife, I was like, I don't like the way it sounds. She's like, well, I know what you're gonna do. You gotta redo the whole damn thing.
Yeah,
like, you gotta redo the whole damn thing.
Yep. I did that last week, couple videos ago, man. My mic was the wire or something on my camera wasn't plugged in all the way, and it was going the whole time. I was like, mother effer, man. I had to redo the whole video. Oh man.
But this is the point
I need to know. I need to ask one question as a fan.
Absolutely. Anything.
Yeah.
I need to hear, Mike, like, what is the room you're in? Is that like a built space you made for this, or like where are you?
Shed.
It's an addition to this house. I bought this house from an older couple, and they had an addition like to the front of the home where it's like there's like another living room added, and this is like a side part to it. He built this. He used to build model trains, and in this room, like I'm in a built-in like I'll do another room tour video. I did one very early on, but I'll do another one. It's very small, but it's good for this. Like the acoustics are good, and it's almost like a hidden room. It looks like a closet, and it's like behind a couple different locks. So if somebody made it here while I was here, I have a dog, and I would come out and play the song of my people. If somebody gets in, it's a bad day for them. But like when I'm traveling or something, it's kind of hard to find. It's behind multiple locks. People come to my house, they don't even know where this room is.
Yeah.
But it's almost like a walk-in closet where he had like model trains like on shelves above here, and then I'm at a desk with a bunch of like built-in like bookcase right here. Okay. So it's good for this purpose. I think I'm going to I have a guest bedroom with just like boxes and comics boxes that I think this is going to make its way there at some point, but for now it's good for what it is.
I mean, I love to see people's spaces, like how they design them, what they put in the spaces. So I'm kind of fascinated by looking at what's on the wall. And so whenever I look at yours, Rich, I always look at that Space Action comic back there, and I always I need to get that issue. So I love to stare at what people have going on.
Yeah, this is actually a bedroom, but I'm working on my other bedroom so I can move in there, but make this my social media comic room, and then really get it laid out. That's why I've never done a room tour or anything, because there's really nothing more to show until I get the other room finished where I can move everything into there and then have this space strictly for comic and social media. And set up a desk, and it's in the works, but my health thing put it back a little bit. But it's getting there. It's getting there. I can't wait. It's driving me nuts because I got the rest of my house. I got crap moved all into my living room and got like a little tunnel you can walk through it, and that's about it.
From here, though, it looks fantastic. It looks like so organized and beautiful and great. As long as you don't turn the camera the other way.
Right. Yeah. You don't want to see behind the camera right now.
But like Chonko space, like it looks like it was built for this. Yeah. That's why it's kind of so fascinating.
Yeah. I mean, nice. It was well, I mean, when I decided to do this, I did make this space for this. Like this was just storage in here, and I just like, you know, took the storage stuff out and put it in the guest bedroom, and then like, you know, set this place up specifically for the camera to be here. So it's kind of designed like that.
Yeah.
But normally this is where we will bring on buddies.
Yeah.
There are a bunch of people like like several people out in the chat. Some people that will come on, but Adam, Dave, Kate. Sorry, Kate, you're welcome to come on. We have Archivist, of course, Johnny.
Post in the comments. Anybody that wants to come on.
Yeah,
come on.
You're all welcome, and we'll
open it up.
Just kind of show some stuff and talk and
stuff. If Bobby, if you want to hang out, if you feel
I'll hang out. Hope I didn't skip. Sometimes I'm like, man, am I talking too much? That I like?
No,
man. And they laugh. We love it, dude. We love it.
No, fascinating stuff, and I think like Rich said, we'd love to have you on again and talk more about like some of your other projects.
I would love to talk more about like different videos in the series or whatever. Of course, yeah, for sure. And like, you know, I don't have all of the remaining ones planned out yet. I have a couple, but I don't really have them. So people come to me often. People ask me like, oh, where do you get ideas for films that you've made? And so many times ideas are because people have come to me and said, have you ever thought about making a film about this?
Hey, Stevie.
You know, and
how are you doing?
And then I'm like, that's a great idea.
Rich.
Yeah. I'm open to ideas about comic book.
Yeah. Do it on content creators. Yeah. No, I'm kidding. But but normally we start to kind of show stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, let's see who else.
Anybody
wants to come on, man? Come on.
If anybody has
archivist,
I got a ton.
By the way,
I got some. By the way, too, but,
well done, Adam, on what you did.
With Alan's man.
Alan, Alan, as he was showing where he was like saying that he had an upgrade to his that startling comic. I was like, immediately I'm thinking, oh man, I wonder if I can buy his old one. Like that was what I was thinking. And then he kind of threw the curve.
I was totally fooled too,
Jason.
Because I thought he just got another one, and then there was, I was like, oh, maybe he's forgetting to put like my piece up.
And then they pulled that
told me
sketch
to
out,
show
man.
it Friday, but I didn't know. He had everybody fooled. So I was like, I was anticipating getting excited for the new book. So
running the numbers. Well, I got it. Somebody's got a echo. Yeah, somebody
probably also has their YouTube open as well, maybe.
Oh, I guess it was Jason.
Yeah.
Jason, that must have been Jason.
One thing I learned last time is you have to either mute or close the YouTube version out if you're coming inside here, or else you're going to.
You can't have both running.
Yeah, you can't have both running.
Wait, so I didn't see what happened on Alan's. I didn't with Adam and Alan. What happened?
You've seen Adam's art that he does.
Yes.
But he did one for Alan.
Okay. Like that one. He did. Yeah, he did one for Alan, and it's the old the what is
Startling. It's Startling. What number is it? Do you remember, Adam?
It's Startling Stories 49.
It's the Bender cover. It was the inspiration for the robot Bender.
Oh yes. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, there it is.
Hang on a second, Adam.
One.
Yeah, that one there.
That was amazing.
I
That is so
I
cool.
have that
comics.
comic. That's good.
And he's got Steven in the background. I love that, dude.
It's
With the ray gun.
Yeah, the ray gun and stuff.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
so cool.
Steven shooting him in the back, like, he likes to do.
But Alan was like saying, "Oh, I got an upgrade for this comic because he's got that original comic," and then he pulls that thing out and shows it off to everybody. It was awesome.
Oh, I see.
Great
Okay.
review.
I have that.
Hey,
comic.
Johnny, can you
Hey,
hear us?
Johnny.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Yep. Everybody sounds good.
I like that Nirvana shirt.
Thanks,
Yeah.
man. Love the band.
So, Adam, you're saying you had something to show, or
Yeah. I went to a con today.
oh my God, look at that stack!
That
Wow.
looks like me, man. that's what I do.
So this is it's a cool con. We in Virginia, and Bobby would know this a little bit, but there's not a lot of cons. Like there's just not. I mean, we get like there's a big one in Richmond. There's some up in Northern Virginia. There's DC. DC has something, but in terms of like people bringing actual comics to dig in, like there's not a lot of that. There's a lot of like crafts and that kind of thing for cons, but there's this old one that's it's been going on for 30 years, and it's a Virginia, they call it Virginia Vintage Comics and Collectibles show, and it's at Salem Civic Center. Here's how old school it is, though. Usually there's like a website. There's no website for this. There's like an archaic Facebook page, but how they tell people about it is they call you.
Oh my God!
So I got a call, and this old guy like left me a message, and he was like, "Hey, we're having the con this weekend," like a few weeks ago, and it was just a voicemail, and I got it, and then like a week later, he calls again to make sure that I got the voicemail. So it's like $5 to get in. So we went there. Me and the guy that owns and runs our my LCS, like good friend of mine. So we went down there together, and there's some places that had like, and Chanka, you would have gone crazy because there was like so much golden age.
Oh my God!
Like, and you see like a horrific, the one with the bullet in it, like that's up on the wall.
Number
like
3.
there's tons of stuff. I was thinking of Rich. There's like a John Buscema sketch, like
Oh shit!
that was up there. I mean, it's crazy, but there's some dealers that have like pretty astronomical prices. They're still looking at COVID times. But then there was some like Heroes for Hire that does Heroes Con in Charlotte. They came up, and we were first going through there. When we first went through there, it was like everything was like they had all these boxes that were $5, and you're flipping through, and you're like, there's actually some decent stuff, but do I really need it? And then like an hour later, they start pulling up all these long boxes, and they're just taking comics out and stacking them up, and they're like, well, everything's $3.
Wow!
So $3 makes a difference,
In bulk.
And then we found another great dealer that was we kind of felt bad for the guy. So I had my friend, he found this like booth. There's probably like 20 or so vendors. And he's like, you need to come over here right now. And so I go over, and it's this guy. He just has like a table, and he's selling stuff. And this guy comes up, and he's like, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. And he's only like 5 feet away, right? And he's like, he doesn't know what he's doing. All of his stuff is super cheap. I just got this ASM 121 for like $30. He's saying all this stuff. And I'm like, dude, just don't. And then the guy's wife is there, and she's like, I'm making him sell all of his comics.
Oh my God! No,
like, he's getting it like 2 ways, right?
Oh no!
But got some good stuff. I think. All right, so like I got First Howard the Duck.
Wow, cool!
Nice.
Yeah.
And these were a bunch of like $3.
Yeah,
ASM.
nice.
Wow.
I mean, $3 ASM, like can't go
Right.
wrong with that.
Yeah.
Got some annuals. Rich, I thought of you. You made me get this.
Uh-oh. Yes. Hashtag Badger rules.
It's like $3 Joker's Daughter,
Well, hey,
$3.
that's great.
Speaking of
Wow,
Daredevil,
$3. Nice. Nice grab.
First Mongol,
Wow, that's cool
Nice.
too.
$3.
Heck yeah, man.
Let me see. I love this cover. It's just a classic Dick Giordano,
Yeah.
Rogues
Yeah.
Gallery.
That's neat.
I thought of dope with this. Had to get the orb.
Oh wow, that's
Ghost
cool
Rider.
too.
Oh, that's a good one there.
Got some giant sized Dracula.
Another
Oh,
cool
you're
book.
talking about all the like Marvel horror and
Yeah.
stuff, and I'm in that. Got a
We
little
lost
House
Johnny.
Secret.
House of Secret. Yeah, you did great, man.
Yeah, I
Iron
love
Man,
that.
Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Oh, this was crazy. This was from the guy.
Whoa,
Nice.
first man. That's a Plug too, right?
Yeah, the first
Nice.
number one main thing, volume 1, $30.
Really
You can
cool.
pay
Those
that.
27 man things are cool.
I got some other man things, and then let's see.
Cool moon cover.
I've been working on.
Yeah, there it is.
I've been working on some Marvel team up, so I got a few more of those that I needed.
Cool.
There's Stevie D like the Iron Man, Wasp, like some Daredevil there, Doctor Strange, Captain Marvel. So I'm down to like I think I need like 11 left.
I always liked when he teamed up with somebody like weird or like the 2-in-1 where it's like, I don't know this character.
Yeah,
That was
great intros.
Jack of Hearts or something.
First Black Goliath.
Oh wow, that's cool too.
Nice.
Yeah, it's all, I mean it's like all this stuff's $3.
Wow, you did great. Oh,
Yeah,
I love
that's-
those.
Satan, number 1.
Supergirl,
Supergirl.
Shout out to Matt.
Yeah.
Oh, man, he loves.
Swamp Thing. Do y'all know about this book?
Is that Alan Moore Swamp Thing?
Yeah. This is known as the period book.
Oh, I've heard
Oh,
about
yeah,
this.
yeah.
So it's like once a month, all the women turn into werewolves.
Oh,
Yeah, but it's known as the period book. I got some Tomb of Dracula.
Oh, shit. There's Johnny.
yeah, that's
Some,
cool.
Richard Corbin.
Ooh, baby.
Yeah, I love
yeah.
those.
Yeah. Twisted Tales.
Got some. I've been trying to get some Werewolf by Night, so
Yeah.
just glad to get some
Nice.
of that. And
Cool.
and then let's see. I think, yeah, and that's mostly what I got. But
Very nice.
Wow, great
These are
score.
great,
Very
man.
nice. Very nice.
Yeah, for $3 each. That's you got some keys in there.
yeah, I mean, well, some of them like the Man Thing one, the first Howard the Duck. Oh, I didn't show. Where's my other book? I didn't show. I meant to show.
Don't drop them.
Yeah,
Maybe pick them all up like that either.
there you go. Yeah, this one I forgot to show.
Oh wow,
Ooh, nice.
one of
Yeah.
the best Aquaman covers.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean Nick Cardy, but like that one wasn't. But I mean that was $20. But then there was like package of deals. But my friend's awesome, so he like I said, I do a lot of pricing and stuff for the shop, and so he bought most of all that stuff for me. He was just like,
Good
"You do all this
gravy.
stuff."
That's so cool.
That is freaking
He's like,
sweet.
just
Yeah.
do it. Yeah. So I mean, I think I only spent like $60
Wow.
myself,
All
and then
that?
the rest of it was just like, yeah, we're just gonna get this.
That's cool.
So I was like, all right.
How do they look? Like, I mean, they look really good when you're holding on to the camera.
Yeah, I mean, like even the keys are, probably 5 to 6, range for most of those. But I will tell you, he racked up. He got a lot of stuff for the shop that he's gonna end up, flipping for the shop. But he had There was a Batman 251. There was the first Guy Gardner. There was like the first Guy Gardner was it was like $30.
Cool.
The Batman 251, the Joker cover with the cards was like $20.
Whoa!
We got a ASM 122. Death of Gwen Stacy or Captain Stacy, whichever one it is, and that was like $30. It was insane. The deals were just absolutely insane.
Sounds like an awesome show. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it
really
was
cool.
fun. There was one person selling like pins that were like collectible pins, like election pins and things like that. But everything else was just comics. And there was like one guy who was doing art sketches, and everything else was just comics. So
That's
I mean, it was fun. It was like the perfect con. I told Stevie D, I was like, this is like the perfect con for you that you would just enjoy, because I know that's your style. So
Yeah, I like those smaller things like in VFW halls and places like that.
Yeah, it was
really
just
good.
it was just one big room filled with comics. I got some footage. I did some footage beforehand. They let me in a little bit early just to shoot what it looked like. But I mean, it was kind of like you just turn the corner and you just see like, oh my gosh. I mean, I have just 4 Fantastic Four that I need left to get the whole run. And there was one guy I had like 3 of the 4 that I needed. He was like a 1, 3, and a 4. He had, and I was like, oh my gosh, that was just
trade your car for him.
Yeah. I mean, servitude, indentured servitude is, not, overlooked too often, I guess. Right. But, it was fun. It was great. And then we went to another shop that's, it's kind of funny because it's one that actually, Sticky Goose did a show that got kicked out of 2 stores in one day.
Yeah.
So my friend had never been into one of them, so I was like, "We're gonna go in there," because I've been in there multiple times. It is a dump. It is trashed. It smells like a cat died somewhere in there. But
It looks like a cat died in there, man.
Yeah.
It just has that look to it.
Yeah, and here's how they organize their books. So their wall of comics is all from like 2023.
Wow.
And then all the books that have come out since then are just in cardboard like diamond boxes.
Oh no.
By date. So there was a couple of books I was looking for, and I had to find out what date that they were released, and then try to find the box that they're in, and they're all stacked up all over.
Where
the
is
place.
the February 3rd box at?
Yeah. I mean, I was like, well, this thing came out like in July of this year. Do you have it? And and they could find it, but it was just so like my friend who like also runs a short store. Like he's taking pictures, and he's like, we can never let this happen.
Right.
It was pretty funny, but it was a fun day. So it was something I hadn't been able to do for a while. So it was great.
Nice.
That's awesome.
All right. Well, I got a few books I'll show off real quick.
Nice.
Something I got through the week. I got this Wednesday. I went to my LCS. First time I've been there on a Wednesday for New Comic Book Day, I think ever. So I usually can't be there until Saturday, but I picked up this one, another Psycho.
Wow. Cool.
Number 8.
That's gorgeous.
Really cool cover.
Like I said, I think it's my favorite Psycho cover.
Yeah, I was going to say, Adam, ain't this is your favorite one, right?
Yeah, I mean, the girl looks great. The vampire looks
Vampire in the back. It's
Yeah.
it's really badass book, man. And then got this one here. This is number 5.
Cool.
Wow.
That's great.
Yeah.
When did these come out?
This is 1971. Yeah, 1971. So
Very cool.
I love him, man. Love him. My LCS, he has some more of these, but I've been picky about it because some of the other ones are like the covers are almost ripped off and all that crap, and I'm like, I don't want those.
And real quick, Rich, if anyone, I meant to say, so I made this documentary about Al Hewitson, the editor and main writer of all of those, of Psycho and Scream. I can post the link to that. It's played in festivals and at some cons, and I can
Yeah,
share.
I'd love to see that, man.
Absolutely.
I know, Johnny, you had asked about my Carranza film. I put my email in the chat here in this chat. If you just send me an email, I can. If you want me to send you an actual DVD, I can do that, or I can send you a link if you want to watch a private link on
Yeah,
YouTube.
I don't have a DVD player anymore, so
Yeah, most people don't. So I can send you. You can watch it on YouTube, or I can send you a digital.
They're not hard to get.
Yeah,
yeah, I'll definitely hit you up. I was interested in that. So.
yeah. I know a lot of comic people are into material culture still, so a lot still do have DVDs, which I like.
Yeah.
So I thought, man,
I'm trying to find one. I'm gonna get me one. I got a few movies, some anime stuff that Ricky from All Sorts of Words sent me and stuff. So I've been wanting to watch them.
So sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
Oh,
But
no,
I'll
you're
post,
all
if
right.
people are interested, I'll post a link to that Hewitson doc if you guys are fans of Psycho and Scream and any of the Skywald horror.
Is that what you're touring with right now, or what we're touring with recently?
Yeah, that's the one that was the most recent, one of the most recent ones that I had shown at some places. Yeah,
Okay.
and it's kind of Life is Over. It's a really weird film, and I think a lot of festivals didn't get it because, like I'd mentioned previously, I play like a late night horror show host, and that's how I sort of
That sounds
frame
great.
the film. So it's weird, but I'm kind of proud of it, and it's a really interesting exchange between Hewitson and Wortham, and talking
awesome.
about horror comics and the place of violence in comic
That's
books.
great. That's great.
I can post that.
Yeah, it's
Post
awesome.
it actually if you want in the full chat for this, not just
the comments or whatever. Yeah.
I'll put it in the comments.
You posted your email in the private chat.
Yeah, in the private, and I'll post. This is a link to the Hewitson doc in the private. I think did I put it over? Maybe. And
Those guys can access
there
those.
it is. You can transfer that over if you wish to the other one, chat. And that'll take you to the Hewitson doc, which is called Weird as It Is.
Weird as it is. Okay.
Trying to figure out how you do that.
I guess I can put it in the chat too, right? I'll put it. In the chat.
I'm not sure how you do.
Yeah,
that
you
to
get back to your books, Rich. I shouldn't have interrupted. I'll put it.
No,
in the
you're
chat.
all right, man.
Okay.
I'm still trying to figure out this.
I can do it on my
If
phone.
it'll do that or not. I don't know how you do that.
I'll do it. Don't even worry about it. Get back to your books.
No, it's all right. But Adam, I think you'll like these. I went to another. It's a high-end comic store. They don't sell current comics. It's all collectibles, and so their books they have there. They're usually high-end, but they're not real pricey. But sometimes they'll have decent prices on some of the stuff. But if you're ever looking for real, it's called the Bookery. It's in Fairborn, Ohio. So if you guys are ever passing through there.
I've been there.
Sounds bougie. Yeah.
It's really not, but yeah. I mean, I got this
Nice.
number 3,
That's awesome.
and then we got number 4.
Nice.
So, how much do you have left of that run?
I got that run.
Yeah.
Well, I sent you some, so I had to replace them. So
He did. He was so nice.
but then I found this one, Adam. This is the record.
Oh, the book and record set. Yeah.
Book and record
Awesome.
one, man. And it's
Do you
got
have the record
in
or
it.
just the book?
It's got both.
Yeah,
It's
that's
got
cool.
45. Those are cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
When I seen that, man, I was like, "Oh, I got to get that, dude. That's so badass. I love that."
Yeah, that's cool.
Wow.
Yeah. But
I guess that tells the first issue.
Huh?
It's probably the first issue that it's redoing. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. It is. But Johnny, how do you these book and record ones? You know, the front cover is a real thick cardboard. Is there a way to press those?
I mean, it's tough because usually when they get a wrinkle in them, it's like it's a rippled wrinkle where the paper actually underneath the layers of paper separate. So
Yeah.
for like the stuff that I do, there's not much you can do with them. You can dry clean them, but you can't really press them. And then they're really anything that has an insert like that has that record sleeve insert. It's so hard to get that to where you don't indent that into the cover when you do it. I don't know if like Jason has a technique that might work for, but I don't know of any way to that cardstock stuff's damn near impossible.
Possible. Okay. I was wondering because the coloring on it is excellent, but it's just got some wrinkles and stuff in it. And I didn't know if there was a way because I know that front cover is real thick, like you said, that cardstock too.
Captain Larry actually, he's got a channel. It's Flying L Comics, I think. He took an album cover and was able to take all the dents and wrinkles out of an album cover. And it was a big pain in the butt because it's a different method from comic books, but paper is paper. But
right.
I don't think it's going to be easy. That's for sure. So yeah.
Okay. Well, I was just curious. I didn't think it would be
simple
as pressing it, but like I said, with it being so thick on that front cover, it still presents really well. It's still, to me, it's still badass as all get out. But
I know they'll slab those. Yeah,
huh?
I've seen slabs of those.
Yeah, I've never seen this.
Don't send the record in.
I've only seen like this.
Oh yeah, good point.
Do what, Johnny?
He said, "Don't send in with the record because it'll."
I said, "Don't send the record if you want."
Oh, okay. No, I ain't gonna slap it.
No, they'll throw the record away.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
it's like a COA. They have no use for it. They won't put it inside.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't do that anyhow. It's in a nice bag. It's good enough for me. But then a few other things. I got dollar books, but like I found this one in the dollar bin. And this thing is in excellent shape, man. It's like a $15 or $20 book. I could believe I found it in a dollar bin. So
that's a great Perez story.
Yeah,
Black Widow. Yeah.
And then I don't know if you guys are. I picked up my locals, my Battle Beasts. If you guys are reading that, that's a must read.
Love it.
Read. And then of course, Absolute Batman. It's getting there, man. This one here, this tells the backstory of Bane a little bit, and don't want to ruin it for anybody.
Yeah, I picked it up a couple days ago. I haven't read it yet, but
okay.
Yeah,
I won't say nothing about it then. I won't say nothing more, Bobby.
I will say it is brutal.
Yeah,
it is brutal.
Okay.
Brutal. And then Chaco, I thought I'd show these real quick. These were complete cover buys, but I just thought I'd get them and read the stories and stuff. But I love the covers.
Yeah,
nice. Cerebus. This is Cerebus 80.
That's awesome.
Then 81.
Cool.
Good stuff.
Sacred Wars.
The Roach.
Good stuff.
And then this one, 82. I was like, when I seen 82, I was like, I had to pick up 82. It's got Swamp Thing and Man Thing, but Man Thing's got boobs.
Well, in between the two of them, that's supposed to be like Alan Moore, I believe.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. It's what it looks like, Alan Moore's head. There's two other floating heads over here, but I'm not sure who they're supposed to be.
Yeah, it's a little. It's hard to read Cerebus like one issue at a time. It's like he's like so the like thing looking guy. He's fighting with him. I believe he's fighting to be Pope, and then and he ascends and he's trying to talk to God, which is Tarim, and these other beings are kind of in the way. Yeah, it's a.
And then that one.
Yep.
Pretty cool. And I picked up that. It was
the Roach. Yep.
The Roach.
Oh, the Roach is great.
I like that cover, so that was pretty cool. But do you guys ever? I seen these, and it was the artwork that really grabs me, like it does a lot of times. But these are actually like short stories. The Time Warp.
Oh wow, those are cool.
I don't think I've read those.
Night Tiger, Mike at Night Tiger Comics has some of those. Those are cool. I love the covers.
That's a bunch of short stories or something in them. But there's the other one there.
Yeah, gorgeous covers.
Yeah, the covers, the artwork on them, man. It's how do you pronounce that? Kauita.
Oh no, Kalut.
Mike
No.
Kaluta.
It's got to be Kaluta, right? Yeah, not
Mike
I.
Kaluta. Yeah, he's one of those guys that was with like Jeff Jones and Bernie Wrightson and part of that
Yeah,
gang.
I mean that cover there is
Yeah.
just that one grabbed me. It was it was in the
Fantastic.
like the 50 cent bin, man. I was like, that thing
Yeah,
is
that's
going
neat.
home with me. So and then I picked up a couple Judge Dreads. This was because of Brian Boland.
Very
Boland
cool.
cover. So
That's great.
Best.
Really
I
cool.
love Brian Boland cover. So
Very cool.
but yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's
I got
awesome.
another stack, but I ain't gonna bore you guys with them. So
Rich, I have a question because I'm
Yeah.
this is to everybody in the group because a couple of you I know have done this. When you guys post like top 10, like if Alan puts out a call, like how the hell are you doing it? Like, are you sifting through your collections? Do you have your shit memorized? Like, that's not me. I can't be like
it's
what floating
that's
heads
why-
do I have in my collection? Like,
Bobby, that's why you never really see me doing Alan's challenges, because it's not because I don't want to. It's just because the way my room is set up right now, there's no way I could dig through and find stuff because of how my boxes are.
I would have to literally be like,
Yeah, me too. I'm the same way.
because
I would have to.
except
got
POV covers.
I document all my stuff on cover price. So
See, that's what I thought. Like, do I need
Yeah.
to create a spreadsheet? Like,
no, it just helps. I just go through all the covers and I find something. And I don't really have, I mean, I have maybe 300 comics. I don't really have that many. So it's easy for me to kind of sort through and be like, oh, I think I got enough for 10 comics for this, this week's show.
what about you, Chaco? Because you had some good run.
Yeah.
I usually
Hey, man, come on here, buddy.
I usually know right away if I have enough to participate. And like the floating head thing, I could have gone on and I could have done 50. Like I had a lot. So but other times, yeah, I mean my stuff's organized oddly too. Like I have all Golden Age together, and I've got like all like comics I'm speculating on in a box that, like, if it's going to be sent to CGC or like if I'm holding it, for like a 9/8 pre-screen or those kind of things. Then I've got like artists that I collect. All the artist stuff is together, and then I've got certain runs together, or certain types too. Like I've got like a short box that's all like Bronze Age horror, and then I've got like all like like I keep it. It's not all alphabetized and like that I would never be able to find anything. It's more, this is this subject.
No Dewey Decimal System for your books or anything like that?
Furthest thing from it. It makes sense to me, but nobody else would be able to make sense of it.
I used to do that, and then recently, and I'm actually redoing it now. I was like, you know what? Let me just go full alphabetical. That way, if I want to find something, I know exactly where it is.
Yeah.
But now it's harder to maybe get to some stuff that was organized in a way that I might be able to quickly figure something out or remember something. But like, geez, did Matt pop on? Because I saw I wonder how I know, because he always kind of participates too. And I wonder.
I think Matt's more classic. Like he's got numbered boxes, and he kind of. I don't do that.
Man. His memory system's crazy, but
people do that. Another guy I follow whose channel I really like, Four Color Commentary. I mentioned him before. You can see his boxes behind him, and he has like a numbering system. I'm just like, yeah, man, that's where it's at. And you probably have a sheet that has what's in there, and might even have like some content blocks that tells you what's on the cover.
Yeah.
I wish I had that.
Or like keys. I've got like a box of like raw that are keys all in one short box, like distinct and separate from everything else.
I used to have a box that was like all my Vertigo stuff from like the very beginning when I got it, like all that early Vertigo stuff, but I kind of mixed it all in.
You see, I would hate like, wow, I got this one in this alphabet, in this order, and now I've got to like bleed over into another box and do it. Like I don't want to do that.
That's what I do. Mine is completely alphabetical.
Yeah.
And numerical and all of that. But it's all in storage pretty much. So everything of mine's in storage mostly. So I have to go like a couple times a year and spend like a day in my storage unit reintegrating. So I have decided to take like some of the stuff that I have that is like a full long box or something like that. That's like a whole run that I have I'm a big run collector. So it's like, I have a full run of this. It's like, it's nothing else going to be added to that. I can put that aside and then I don't have to move so many boxes all the time. But yeah, it's not time I look forward to. But also why I don't really, it's hard for me I have to plan a little bit for showing stuff sometimes, or I can't really like do the Friday thing because it's like, I'd have to go in there and look through a whole bunch of stuff.
I want to do it, but I'm just like, it would take so long.
Yeah.
Well,
there are certain boxes I access a lot, like where I use them. I use certain comics for a lot of, different topics or something.
Yeah.
So me, that's why I can't wait to get this room done, because I actually have filing cabinets waiting in the wing to be able to bring in here and file everything out of the boxes, and it's going to make it so much easier to be able to find stuff, to be able to just go through, and I can't wait. I can't wait to reorganize everything.
Like Derek said, it's sorted by the artist's birthday. That's great.
Artist's birthday.
Whatever works for you, Derek.
But no, Bobby, I got all mine like indie boxes, Marvel, DC.
Oh, okay.
Foreign boxes. I even have a need to read box, which stays cram full.
Right.
You get it just organized autobiographically.
Yeah.
In the order you purchased them.
I would go insane if mine weren't in like alphabetic numerical order. Like I would go insane because I've never been able to find anything. It would drive me nuts. I'm like, is my Silver Age box here? Is it over there? I could not do that.
Yeah, I'm the same, Johnny. I like by type is easiest for me.
Yeah. I keep my X-Men all separate. Beyond that, everything's alphabetical. Like the first book is 80-page giant. Top left, start with 80-page giant, go all the way through to Z.
I figured it was just easier to come on here and explain it than keep writing notes because.
My question, Matt. Like I was asking, how the heck everybody does their top 10s? How do you find and think about the comics you have?
Well, first of all, it helps to have a bit of memory about titles.
Yeah.
But second of all, like sometimes, like I've got some piles here that I haven't filed yet. I go through them a lot, and then if I say I find 5 books in the piles, then I'll go grab a box and go, well, okay, odds are I'll find it, say, in a Superman, so I'll grab the Superman boxes and go through that kind of thing. I have my boxes numbered in order. Okay, box 1 has action. And box 59 right now has Zombie Tramp and all the numbers in between. If you see one like this where it says 21 and a half, it's because that's a box between box 20 and box 21 and box 22, where I didn't want to move everything through, so I give it a half decimal. But and you're right, I do have a spreadsheet with everything, and I kind of put the boxes around what numbers are. Put box numbers next to titles. It does help. It really cuts down on the lifting and searching. And since I was doing it from day one, it's actually not that hard to keep.
Yeah.
Yep, I have a pretty good system. Let me just show you. It's easier.
All righty. Hang on, Stevie.
Okie dokie. All right, I got this kitchen rack.
Mm-hmm.
And it's easy to get to the individual shard boxes. And on top, I got my mailing stuff and a couple, a slab up there, good books. The next shelf down, I got Essential Iron Man and graphic novels and stuff. And on this level, I have my Iron Man.
Oh, you got some.
That's my Christmas Halloween box there, and the rest of these are Iron Man. But I keep comics up here to display during my shows, and I rotate them out. Then I got some more Iron Man, and then in my space books, then my Captain America books, and that's my West Coast Avengers and Minor Keys, Civil War, X-Men, DC. I don't have a lot of DC or X-Men. Avengers box. Then 3 more boxes of stuff, Hulk and Wolverine and anniversary portraits. And behind me, I have Minor Keys and Batman and War Machine. So that is a bunch of stuff. And the rack makes it real easy to dig out because you're just lifting one box, where Matt has to lift, like if his box he needs is the 4th one down, he's got to move 3. And I was doing that until I got that.
Yeah, I got the same problem. I got boxes on boxes, and they're long boxes.
But the thing is, they're short boxes because I can't handle long boxes, and it gives me exercise.
It's a good looking shirt there.
Yeah, I'm representing.
Sorry, guys. I literally just got in from a family barbecue like 5 minutes ago. So I came down.
Thanks for the invite, man. Thanks, Matt. Thanks. Wow.
Not my problem.
You got to go to Canada for that.
What? Guys, you guys are like thousands of miles away.
I thought you just had poutine up there.
No, we have deep fried
poutine, man.
We have
deep fried poutine.
Bobby, I've been trying to get a hold of you. Can you DM me on Instagram?
Yeah, for sure.
Great.
Yeah.
Find your own guest.
I liked your Supergirl video.
Jonko said he mentioned it. Jonko said he mentioned it. So
just
hi,
teasing,
Jason.
man.
Hey.
Keep dropping people.
Sorry.
Anybody else got anything to show? Anybody?
I got a question, actually.
I got some stuff.
Hey, oh, go ahead.
Oh no, go for it. No, I can show.
I'm gonna tell a story real quick. It's not comic related. I got scam called earlier today, and I had to give them persistence. They called 3 times. The first time they called was a private number. Come up private number. Answered it. The guy went into a spill. Yeah, this is a deputy from the county sheriff's department. Never said his name, never said what county, never said what sheriff's department, I just hung up. I just hung up on them. They called right back. This time I just ignored it. They left a message. And then I could play you the message. And then so then he called back the third time. The third time he called back and he said the same thing. I said, "Oh, that's funny." I said, "I'm a deputy too. What department do you work for?" He said, "You're a deputy?" I said, "Yeah, I'm a deputy. I work for county sheriff's department myself. What do you do?" And and man, he was stumbled and tongue tied. I just hung up on him. I was like,
"Wow,
what a big scam!"
It was like a scam call then. Oh wow.
Yeah, he was trying to tell me that they were that I had ignored a request for jury duty and that they were reaching out to me over this jury duty thing. And I've heard about the scam before because what it is, we've had to issue a warrant for your arrest, but we can take care of it over the phone right now and try to get your credit card number and all that crap.
Wow.
I was just like, wow, man, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, come and get me. I'll be waiting at the door. Come and get me.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, if you know who I am, come and get me.
Wow.
Well, I will tell you one more secret there too, Bobby, Rob, everybody. Alan and I discussed them beforehand.
Oh, you do? Okay.
I'm the guy.
You got an inside track on the top 10.
Well, no, I'm the guy he bounces ideas off because I have a list of what we've done. Yes, I'm that nerdy, and on occasion, it's my idea. So I usually know about a week in advance. You ask why I can find this stuff? It's because I usually know a week in advance. I can find it.
Oh, nice.
To find it.
Very cool.
No, I have Alan and I.
Some stuff.
We both have tight schedules, so we've got to sort of do this when we can.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead,
Did
John.
Jason have a question real quick? I think before.
Hey,
Jason, I wasn't sure if it was that. Probably not at me. I just.
Oh
thought you
no,
had-
yeah. I just want to ask you, Bobby, real fast. Frederick Wortham, the documentary. So Frederick, Dr. Wortham, he was a neo-Marxist who he actually named his clinic after Marx's son-in-law,
Mhm.
and the one that was in Harlem that he kind of served.
Yeah, Lafarge. Yeah.
Yeah. How do you think? Is there anything in the documentation that goes into his political views as far as that tied into? I mean, did any of that tie into his views on censorship, or not so much censorship, but like his views on comic books?
No, so I don't know a whole lot. I mean, just in some of the reading that that says like he was reading Marx and had and some ideology that came out of that, but I haven't seen any connection specifically to that kind of ideology in comic books, but maybe in some of his sort of social thinking and stuff like that, but no connection. And it could be like I said, like you could probably take that question, go into the archives and come out with something probably really interesting. He's a guy that kept everything. He clipped everything, and he was such an obsessive. Like he would take a newspaper clipping about, say, comics or about violence or about some kind of social phenomenon, and he would write notes in the margin about it and file it away. And his wife actually would take all of that and create files. His archives are so well organized. I'm sure you could, and you can look at the
So
finding list.
self-absorbed, man.
What's that?
I say he's so self-absorbed.
Yeah. When you get a look inside, yeah. One thing I didn't show, but I actually have an original copy of his
Oh
World of
wow.
Fanzine.
Oh yeah.
Wow, that's
Which
cool.
really blew people's minds when he, wanted to make a comic about, these kids who loved or wanted to write a book about kids who loved comic books and were making fanzines about it. When he was a guy who was really saying they were worth nothing, but yet he was praising all of these kids and adults who were creating fanzines about it. And you can go through and find not just the original manuscript on this, same thing with Sodi, but all the iterations that he did, the different versions. So, I'm sure you could find, if you go into the archives, look at the finding aid, I'm sure there's stuff there, but I haven't really kind of delved too much into that area.
Okay. I wondered if that might have informed his views on, like, say, Superman being a fascist kind of representation of that.
Yes.
Sort of.
I would think so, but I haven't found specific writings where he's said anything about it, but I would deduce as much. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, Chonko. I actually have some comics to show, but I'll wait till you're done because I really want to see your books.
Yeah.
But I mean, so Bill Gaines was right. It was the dirty commies all along, and
yeah, for sure.
And Wortham, and it was kind of what I was hinting at with the collectivist mindset that he seemed to have. That's the first I had heard about that, but it was one of the things where I thought he was treading on dangerous ground by saying that the collective is above the individual or the family unit.
Yeah, it was kind of. I think kind of like a lot of the woke stuff that's going on, or the cancel culture that happened, relatively recently. Perhaps the heart was in the right place, but the direction and actions were in the wrong place. Kind of, I'm wondering if there's parallels between, history repeats itself, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
I mean, if you look at his work and think about like sort of Marxist theory, and he definitely. You can equate like the capitalism involved in comics and the sort of indiscriminate sale of those to children. I mean, he definitely sees that as a crude device, right? The fact that they're just about making money. So this idea of capitalism and classist theory too, if you look at that, I know he definitely had ideas about that. You see Marxist ideology bleeding into some of his thought, but I've never encountered it, like where he specifically says it.
Right.
But yeah, for
that's
sure.
Okay. All right.
And there is like a real philosophical discussion to be had there, because as you're saying, accusing Superman of being a fascist is pretty much, it's like the
So yeah, Adam.
Zack Snyder kind of
emotional children being Marxists being kind of emotional children that imagine fascists behind every corner is kind of like what it was another thing that I was thinking about when he was saying that they're all everything that I disagree with is fascism.
I mentioned that in the comments where Redditors feel that Zack Snyder's work is very fascist representative, and I don't think Zack Snyder really has that in his head, intentionally at least. But that people are reading that into that, I think it's interesting mindset. But
yeah. I do not think that Zack Snyder has that in his mind. But however, I do think when you make a thing and you put it out in the world, it's out there now. And what we do is we consume, we interpret, we get emotional, and that's just part of it. Like, of course, and that you just have to deal with that. Interpretation, But it's mentioned in the film. One thing, I mean, this is classic Wortham, and getting back to his ideas of fascism. I mean, it's like insane that when he was testifying before, the Senate subcommittee, that he says, he makes the statement like Hitler has nothing on the comic book. On these comic book creators.
Wow.
He literally says that. So that's a guy, speaking of like you were using the word hyperbolic, like
I would like to point out
is one of his
it's for
tools,
effect,
right?
for sure. But it's also so absurd, it like undermines what you're doing when you make absurdist claims like, oh my god, the world is it's like, no, it's not really. Let's have a little perspective here.
It's also a German man at that time, a German man making comments against Jewish creators.
He didn't put that
Jewish,
like
wasn't he?
He's Jewish.
He
and he doesn't put together that really the history of comics is embedded in like Jewish culture and those early days. I don't know how that's completely lost on him as far as like
you just came out of like the worst atrocity to your own people committed by this dude, and then you're going to like equate all of this with that. It's insane. It's so crazy.
It's rhetoric for sure, and he knew it, and he was using it as a tool because he could sort of stir the pot with that, like his
well, I mean, like for a lot of people who had just come out of that fight, it was very
that's all the more reason why saying that Superman is a fascist representation makes it more absurd, because you just saw what it really was, and then, to make this assertion, it undermines everything you're saying.
But effective, right? Because everybody is still reeling from World War II.
Yeah.
Well, I do have some books to show.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get back to books. Fuck this Marxist stuff. Let's get back to books.
So you mentioned Daredevil. I don't know, but just finished Daredevil: Cold Day in Hell. Did you read that, Bobby? Or
yes, of course.
Excellent.
Right back there, because I want to read them again.
It's
love it, and man, I've always loved McNiven's art, and he's like kind of taken it to this like crazed level, like the sketchiness of it right in there. It's like really intense.
I love it. It's like, I think it's my favorite thing that I've read from Marvel in at least a decade.
In a long time. Yeah.
Everybody's saying that, which makes me happy because I love it, and I love
high praise.
Yeah,
really like deep dive into the psyche of Daredevil and even Bullseye. Like there's like a lot going on there, and there's a lot of like interesting stuff.
What the heck cover did you have? Because that's not.
Oh, this is
that's Daniel Warren Johnson.
Yeah, it's the Daniel Warren Johnson.
I have all the standard covers. Like that's freaking awesome.
Yeah, Daniel Warren Johnson one, man.
It's so cool.
My LCS doesn't really get alternate covers or like incentive cover because he just doesn't. He's very small. He doesn't order enough, and I miss out on some of these fantastic covers. I guess I could buy them online, but I still want to get my books from him, so I don't really get an opportunity to get those variants.
I love that one, man.
A lot of them you got to go online.
My guy will special order any cover you want. It just might take a while.
Right.
Yeah.
So I got this black cat. It's a 150.
Wow.
Cool. It's really cool.
It's nice. Wow.
I thought it was Lozana, but it's not. It's I have to look it up. But really cool.
Where's the trade dress? Like what? I don't. Is it because it's a one of? I don't really buy
the
Virgin variant.
Virgin variant. So it's the
Is that what the Virgin stands for? It's like no trade dress.
Yeah,
no
right.
trade dress, no pricing, anything like that.
Pricing.
Okay.
It's just the image.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's I think for a really nice image, I think it usually works better. But
Yeah.
That's another reason why I like Chanko your channel is I like to see all the variants and different covers you get and
yeah, I do try.
Yeah.
For sure.
I talked about these already, but I'll show them again. But these IDW exclusives, the San Diego Comic-Con ones. This is
Trees, yeah.
Yeah, so beneath the trees, and they're like supposed to be signing things at San Diego Comic-Con.
Interesting.
And then I got this TMNT, which is a SDCC as well. But these were sent to me unbagged and boarded, just like with the bags of boards like stuffed in. I put them in my life.
I saw your video on that.
Yeah.
One. You went hard on that.
That's crazy, man.
Which is bizarre that they stuffed the bag and board in there, but they didn't put the comic in first.
It's lazy and it's stupid.
Yeah.
I'm beginning to think people are sending it to Chanko badly on purpose, so he'll rip it.
Yeah.
Well, but I mean, this is even the publisher. It's the publisher doing this.
Wow.
It's so bad.
Wow.
Maybe yes, Chonka.
What was that?
Maybe they watch your video. They were funky.
Maybe they watched their video. And,
Oh, okay. Good. Yeah. Well, it's if they did, they got an earful. So.
yeah.
They did.
And watches still a watch.
This is John Boy Myers. It's this Fantastic Four #1, the John Boy Myers variant. This is in the Comic Tom box.
Yeah,
I like John Boy.
I like that one, man. It's cool.
And also this foil, this reprint
That's so
of
cool.
FF49. Yeah,
Yeah, that's neat.
they did all three. They did 48, 49, and 50.
Wow.
foils.
It looks so
And
great.
that's a floating head Galactus.
And then I always talk about a few
Floating
artists,
head.
but what? Hello?
Sorry, Matt said something about a floating head, but yeah, that's
Oh.
there you go. You got another one in there.
There's
Floating
It's,
head.
Suspiria
Gorgeous.
did this.
Wow.
Something is killing the children, and
Yeah, we lost Johnny again.
so yeah, like I think I talked about briefly on the channel, but I've approached Suspiria for an interview multiple times now, but
Yeah.
I sent her the video of the unboxing I did of her original art. And I think she's in Canada at the big Comic-Con in Canada right now, but she did write back and she asked if she could use my video and post it on her Instagram. And I said, of course.
Wow.
And then I asked again, I was like, hey, we have the stream, so we'll see. I hope we can get Suspiria on.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
You guys,
She's
been getting
very
some, like,
interesting.
bangers. Yeah, you guys have been getting some like really great guests lately. So
Oh, just wait.
yeah,
We've
either
got
with
some
me
great-
and you, Jason. So I mean,
I know.
Yeah.
cream of the crop here.
we've got some that are coming that are going to be. I think
Yeah.
people are going to really like.
That's awesome.
But yeah, if you haven't heard Suspiria's story, like she from Barcelona, lives in Canada, was not only a painter but a tattoo artist, and during completely shut down during COVID, and got into like painting like horror posters and stuff, and then comic covers, but also like just recently was announced cancer free, but went through like a couple years of breast cancer treatment, and she's cancer free. So
Wow.
a lot of really cool stories that I would love to talk to Suspiria. She's a fascinating person. I think it would be a great interview. But I just got this too. This Ghost Pepper #1. I've heard good things. I don't know anything more about it than
I seen that, but I didn't pick it up. I didn't know anything about it.
so. It's Image, and I'd heard that it's good, but I can't vouch for it yet. I haven't read it. It just arrived today. But I got a facsimile of Hulk #1,
Nice. Very cool.
Yeah. which I've never actually read, like Hulk #1. So
I love how pulpy that cover is. It's still classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
still got the My Comic Shop crap on there. So we're My Comic Shop. and then finally, my buried long ago number 4 arrived, this is fantastic. I think you've probably seen that Nate and Dope have been talking a lot about this one. It's worth reading. It's really, really creepy and really cool, and it's worth it. It's worth checking out.
Wow, cool.
And, then I got the other one. I got a new one. I got the Thing all in one.
Oh yeah, have you read it yet?
No, but I'm fascinated by the story. What I heard about it. I thought it sounded really interesting. So I figured give it a shot.
I picked it up, but my LCS. Who's actually a former student of mine, so I like going to his shop. He's holding a copy for me because of the comics are dope. That's when he was talking about it, I was like, all right, this sounds interesting. Let me get this. It looks cool.
It's double sized. It's a double sized issue. Yeah.
So I asked
I'm enjoying the other Thing series that's out too, though.
Dope has talked about that. Dope. So you're the second person I've heard talk about it. I haven't read it.
The other series is good too.
Yeah, this is a one-off. This is just a one-shot.
Yeah, it's a one-off.
Just a one-off area.
Yeah. And then I've been waiting for these for a really long time. I ordered these on a Whatnot stream, and the guy he was like I don't know. Are you guys familiar with Jonathan Uribe?
No.
He's really good. He does a lot of these cool things. But so he did some covers like this. It's Tidal Wave, which I don't know. There's controversy about Tidal Wave where they do a lot of homage covers, and some of them are like way too on the nose. But he did this, the Joker complex. This
interesting.
Oh, that's neat. I like
so it's like that Spider-Man, Hobgoblin,
Batman down the corner too.
But it's signed by Jonathan Uribe. He was supposed to have this signed. The guy who was running Jonathan Uribe was right there. He didn't get it signed, so we had to wait to San Diego Comic-Con, but he saw him again and had him sign it, and they just sent it to me. So, but this is a 1 of 100.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
cool.
And one of the few signed.
Wow.
And he did this Stan Lee homage.
Oh wow!
The Spider-Man one.
Oh yeah.
You're
gonna need that. You're gonna need that for your wall back there because you have all the.
Yeah, signed by Uribe, and it's a 1 of 150. And I just got one other thing, and I got another Golden Age book. I got Weird Science number 22. It's this cool Wally Wood cover.
Love it. That's so nice.
Yes.
I've read that.
And
I have that.
Friggin' sweet.
Love it.
Inside, it's Frazetta. Frazetta does some art inside.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
And,
gorgeous
Hey, Christopher.
copy. What grade is that?
It's a 4.5. 4.5
Nice.
off-white pages from
Nice.
1953.
Beautiful.
That's what I had.
Amazing.
Sales boy.
As salesboy would say.
If I have to make a quick pitch, if we're talking about new comics we're reading, a book I am absolutely loving right now is the new Red Hawk series. Is anybody reading this series?
Dope is talking about it.
Yeah,
Dope's
it's
talking
fantastic because it's like a mini team with him, Deathlock, and a kind of a character I like. He's a Machine Man. I sort of profile.
Oh yeah, I love Machine Man.
Oh man, yeah.
In fact,
Mhm.
I don't have very many. Let me see here. I don't have very many slab comics, but what I do have is I have the Machine Man's Kirby first appearance in 2001.
Nice.
See that?
Very cool. That's
I
awesome.
like that. Yes.
Yep.
Sweet. Nice.
First start of
nice,
his
nice.
issue.
I don't think Machine Man got a fair shake. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
people think.
And so I
like
agree.
Machine Man.
the
Yeah, I like
Barry
Machine
Windsor
Man. It's
Smith
cool.
limited series, which I love. But anyway, that Red Hawk, which it's up to 7 now. Some werewolf combat going, and it's
Oh, that's
Nice.
I'm actually really loving it. And I was never really a big fan before that, but it's a great book right now.
I'll
Very
tell you,
cool.
it's like with Battle Beast. Like I was not an Invincible guy. I like the cartoon.
Me
I never
either.
collected Invincible, but now Battle Beast, it's like one of my favorite things. I love it so much. It's just violence and bloodshed, and yeah, it's so cool.
It's getting
Oh, that's
better.
cool.
It's getting better. Jason, did you say you had something or?
Yeah, I just want to show 5 real fast. So all Golden Age. We got Dynamic Comics number 14.
Oh, badass. So
Hold it
cool.
a little bit closer.
There's a guy
hold
on
closer to the
Instagram who
camera.
actually has this original art, and I'm like, oh my
Really?
gosh, this is insane.
Wow.
Yeah.
Boy, I think JSS he had a few of the dynamics. I'm really jealous. I really would like to have more of those.
Yeah, it's
that's badass, man.
Chesler who does these. They did
Yeah.
Punch, they did
Yeah.
Scoop, a bunch of other ones. Women Outlaws.
Cool.
This is kind of coming apart. It's going to be a conservation project. Planet Comics number 6.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
So, a question, Jason, for like when you have something like that where it's completely coming apart, is it how hard is it to save that when it's like completely coming apart like that?
It's hard.
I'm gonna point on that one. Two words.
You watch the
It's hard.
videos. It looks very hard.
It looks hard.
Yeah.
It's so hard because you don't want to breathe around them, because I mean, as soon as you take them out of the package, you're like, man, I gotta, it's really hard. And the staple, I'm not looking forward. I mean, I don't know if there's 1 or 2 staples in that, but that's going to go right through the book, I know. So I don't think there's any saving that. So it's going to be really difficult. But I've been using this solution combination where I can get the paper so that I can actually bring back some suppleness and get rid of the brittleness a little bit. And the experiments that I've been doing with this current book are really coming through really well, and I'm really happy with the results. So I think
I have a question about that, Jason. Like, we're watching the Startling comics, right? That's what we're talking about. Like, we're watching this kind of roll out, but like, I'm thinking, because I'm sure many of us are, because we do this. I'm thinking, like, how long ago did you actually start this? Like, how long has this been going?
I post videos days after the thing that I've just done, so I'm working on it as it's live, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm about halfway through, I want to say, as far as the inner wraps. And I think once I get to the cover, I'll be at towards the finish line. So, but yeah, I'm trying to put out like 2 videos a week, but it's so hard with this book. It's just because I want enough content for people to see something new. I don't want them to see the same. Okay, he's working on another wrap. Okay, that's kind of boring. So it's a challenge, but whatever.
I do love when like you finish a wrap and like it's kind of all dry and good, and I love when you say like, look how supple these pages are. And, how like you're able to like bend them again. Like,
and it's really calm. It's always like very calm music. Your voice is very calm and very.
I watch a lot of ASMR, so I'm going for that.
ASMR, whatever it's called. Yeah, what's that stuff called? ASR or whatever?
ASMR, audio sensory meridian response or something like that. So.
I'm waiting for Jason to hold up like a comb and go as he's doing it or something.
That's right. I'll do that next video just for you, Rich.
All right.
Next is Super Mystery Comics.
Oh yeah, cool. I love that book.
Hold that a little closer, Jay.
Yeah. I told you I finally got one. I've been wanting to get more of those.
Nice. They were for a while affordable until you started collecting them, and then all of a sudden they started going up all the roof. So I don't know what happened.
We call in the business the Chonko effect.
There you go. Then I got Super Magician. This is another kind of cheap one you can get pretty much everywhere. They're not that hard to get. Yeah, and then finally, this is a book that's really cheap, and I don't know why. Maybe because they found a warehouse find, but I really love the color for it. But
I have that.
Wow.
Sorry,
Okay.
Nice. My inner Alan jumped out.
Yeah,
awesome, perfect.
I need that. I'll say I'll counteract that. Say I need that.
And so,
there you go.
Jason. So did most of the where are you getting those books? Where
anywhere I can. I a lot of feelers out to like eBay, conventions, occasionally to Heritage, but like, man, the fees on Heritage are so expensive, and I just whenever you think you want something, like, oh man, I got that for a good price, and like you're like, oh, I didn't get that for a good price. So anywhere I can.
eBay is the same.
Jason, I gotta say, buddy, I'm digging that lamp, man. I love that freaking lamp.
The whole room is cool. The room is cool, like the hardwood floors and the display
Appreciate it.
case is really great.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You got
Appreciate
good
it.
lighting, Jason. I
Following what-
admire your
following
lighting.
what
Usually
you
your,
said
your
about all
camera
these-
frame is a little tighter too
these-
when you're appearing on there, and the
That's-
shelf in
yeah.
the back, the way the LEDs strobing and the chandelier peeking down. I'm like,
It's all
"That's
part of the
nice."
SMR. Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, there you go.
And then I'm like, that woodwork is nice. Did he refinish that himself?
Yeah.
Well,
He's got the
guys, I think I want to call it for the night. This has been an
Matt had something to say.
absolute
I just
blast, huh?
wanted to say, following what he said about checking out eBay and all that stuff.
Okay.
I never would have thought how much time it takes looking for stuff online. Remember when you used to, if you didn't get it at the local store, that was it, and then you might look through the book and go, "Oh, Mile High Comics has it." Remember how little time that took compared to what they do today?
That's right.
Well, with eBay, if you save your searches, I think that really helps. I usually get email updates that tell me like when a certain book that I'm looking for is coming up. So that's definitely helpful.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree with that, but you still have to sort of keep an eye out for the email or the notice.
Oh
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah, that's good.
I find maybe it's because I'm a little scattered. Like I'm well organized in some things, but I'm scatterbrained about a lot of other things. And
I'm in that
sure,
club.
my comics are organized, but my tables are not. They're covered in pieces of paper with notes and everything are everywhere. And to remember to check these things is always hard on me. Like I'll hear bing, bing, bing on the phone, and it might be 20 minutes before I get to see it. Or,
But I'm gonna call it a night, guys. If you want, make sure you jump over to watch Codex Station at 11. That'd be 11 p.m.
That's the one that Adam's on, right?
Yeah, Adam's getting ready to be on it here in about 15 minutes. So if you guys are still up or whatever, please go over and check that out. I'd like to say a huge thanks to Bobby for coming on. This has been an absolute pleasure and a delight, man. I tell you, it's an educational, and I couldn't wait to talk to you about your regular videos you post. If you guys are not hip to him or sub to him, I can't help you. I mean, I don't know what else more to say, but to go over and sub.
His channel is great. I really like
so much.
The videos are top notch. You will not be disappointed. So,
upcoming guests. We should talk about some upcoming guests next. So, next Saturday we have Dave.
Next Saturday we have Dave from West Coast Avengers.
Nice.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he has his own interview channel also. It's called Direct Edition, and he has interviewed some big names in the business, man. I mean, he has interviewed like Daniel Warren Johnson like 3 times. I was trying to think of some of the other people. He's a bunch of different artists and writers and stuff. So yeah, it's going to be fun to interview him and talk to him about his interviewing that he's done. So
wow, cool.
But and then the week after that.
Yeah,
we just confirmed we're going to have a new artist. She goes by Kiss Kiss, and she's doing this comic. She's going to be the new artist for Vampirella coming up. She's I think she's doing Red Sonja as well. She's doing this comic called Steak.
Nice.
With this is her art.
That'll be on the 6th. Hang on
the 6th. Let's see if I can show you kind of.
It'll be September 6th at 8 p.m. Eastern.
And she just talked to the writer as well. They're both going to be on. So that'll be
awesome. Wow.
That'll be the and then the following week, just confirmed today on September 13th, we will have the great and powerful Yaniv. Yaniv's coming on and he is going to show. He's going to show some of his personal collection.
Yes,
impressive.
He's not going to try to sell anything, is he?
Oh yeah, we're gonna.
I'm hoping to buy some. I'm hoping to buy something.
Alan's next is in a couple of weeks, so his next one's a couple.
Okay, well this will be more of an interview. Like I told him, he can promote anything he wants, and obviously his IG and that stuff, and if anything that he's selling. But the cool thing will be to interview, and we're going to have him show some of his personal collection. He's agreed to show some of his cool stuff.
Very cool. That's gonna be neat.
But Like I said, thanks to everybody in the chat for coming and hanging out. And if you're watching this on the rewind, thanks for watching it.
Yeah, I'll have to watch the first couple hour rewind.
Give it
It's a good one.
a thumbs up,
I believe
comment,
it.
like, share, subscribe, all that jazz. But
Okay.
thanks to everybody in the panels for coming and hanging out like usual, man. It's been great. This is a lot of fun. Like I said, if you guys aren't doing anything, go over to the Codex station at 11 p.m. Eastern to watch my side piece, Adam from Up and Adam Comics.
Vote the awards. Vote in the awards.
And vote the awards. Yep. Vote for your favorites. And there's quite a bit out there. So with that, Chanko, you got anything else you want to add, buddy? Or
I think we crammed a little bit in the last 5 minutes there. A lot of announcements coming up. Oh, the giveaway.
Yeah.
I'm doing the giveaway tomorrow. Like if you haven't, if you're not subscribed to the channel. All you got to do, go to the video that says how to win. And you just write like what your favorite video is that I've done and why, and you're entered. And I'm going to do a live stream tomorrow and do the giveaway. So make sure you're entered.
That reminds me, I got to get on there with my Ghost account. I forgot. I got
right.
All your sock puppets, right?
Yeah.
Well, I have Chonko coming on my channel on September 16th, and Jason is coming on September 23rd.
Sweet.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sweet.
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good all around. All right, guys, hang out for a sec, and we will.
Thank you
Thanks
for
again,
having me.
everybody. Peace out.
Bye.